Chapter 370. Guogua was eating happily. When she saw Su Yun staring at her, she smiled at Su Yun. "Dad, why are you looking at me like that? I'm too embarrassed to eat." Okay. Dad won't look. Eat slowly. Eat more to grow your body." Su Yun's nervous mood instantly eased. How could such a cute child have the ability to help others increase their strength? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Even if he couldn't find any way to explain it, Su Yun still firmly rejected this idea. This idea was too crazy. Seeing Su Yun's love for Guogua, Old Tophead was envious. He had been obsessed with cultivating his mind and studying medicine all his life. When he realized that he needed a woman to accompany him, he was already 50 or 60 years old. He realized that it was too late, and it was really too late. "Brother, you have so many women around you. Don't let them down." Old Tophead drank alone. "Ayaya, I'm too old. I can't find my true love anywhere. It's too late. If I'm one step late, I'll be late for a lifetime. Brother, while you're still young, hurry up. You don't have to be afraid of women. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 days. Take turns to accompany one a day. If you really can't do it, just flip the cards and see who's lucky." Su Yun laughed and scolded. "Old Tophead, you're getting more and more indecent as you get older. Don't tell me that you can't find a woman. As long as you want to find one. How many young and beautiful girls will directly throw themselves at you? Ha ha. Don't tell me that you can't get it up. Even if you really can't get it up, with your level, you can just casually get some medicine and eat it. Wouldn't that last for 3 to 5 nights? Old Tophead couldn't help but laugh and scolded. "Scram, you're the one who can't get it up. I'm old but strong, and my treasured sword is not old." "Then what are you afraid of? Find someone to accompany you," Su Yun continued. "Although you're not young, that's all on the surface. Your inner things aren't any worse than us young and strong men. You can definitely find a beautiful girl." The old man snorted. "Do you really think that a beautiful girl would like an old man like me? No matter how good he was in bed, no one would know if he didn't try. But who would be willing to try with an old man? It must be for money or material things. I also knew that if I casually bought a Maserati, there would be countless girls throwing themselves at me. I probably wouldn't even have the chance to get up. But that's not called love, not called feelings. Do you know what it's called? That would be no different from King whoring. The only difference was that one would have to pay a high price and only be able to whore one. Do you think I'm stupid?" Su Yun didn't refute his words. Ha, brother, you've been abroad for so long, and you're still talking about love? Don't tell me you're still so open-minded? Tsk. What are you talking about? Of course, I'm very conservative. Let me tell you, do you think that you are very liberal overseas? Come on, now the whole world knows that the girls from Huaxia are the most liberal. Old Tophead spat. Do you know what caused it? It's because of ignorance, because of material things, because of those country bumpkins who rely on loopholes in the policies, and because of those corrupt officials who don't know how to play around with a bit of power. You're so old, yet you're still so angry. Su Yun also couldn't stand many social phenomena, but he had learned to accept it. When he had the ability to change, he would take action. But when he didn't have the ability to change, he could only let nature take its course. Old Tophead patted his chest in disgust. Let's not talk about these things that dampen the mood. Let's talk about your problem. The girls around you now are different. I can see that they are the kind that will never leave you. Think about it with your pig brain. A few days ago, you were just a bag of skin that was about to die, but they served you without any complaints. Every day when I used silver needles to force out the accumulated blood in your body, they wiped your body without any complaints, bathed you, and even changed your underwear. You have to know that all those girls were virgins, and they were willing to serve you like that. They even wanted to see you naked. Tell me, if you died, what would they do? Then you really have accumulated 8 lifetimes of good fortune. Don't be ignorant of your good fortune. If I were you, I would definitely take them all. Although Old Tophead said these words in a high-profile manner, his voice was very low. After all, they were eating at the same table. If Ruan Qingshuang and the other 3 heard it, they would definitely feel embarrassed. But he still couldn't control himself when he said the last two words. Ruan Qingshuang and Qin Wan'er raised their heads to look at the two people whispering to each other. Chou Yun and Tang Jiu also put down their chopsticks and looked over. Su Yin was instantly killed by these four gazes. Fortunately, Old Tophead reacted quickly. I'm talking about stocks. Ha ha ha, I have some stocks overseas. You guys eat, you guys continue chatting. We brothers still need to talk about old times. The small interlude quickly passed. No one noticed the true meaning of Old Tophead's take them all. They just felt that it was strange. Old Tophead, are you here to teach me bad things? Su Yin helplessly shook his head. Take them all? It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he didn't have the ability. I think you want me to be Westgate Big Official, right? Old Tophead disagreed. Westgate Big Official? Compared to him, you are far worse. Let me count the women by his side. There's that Madam Chen Wu Yuanyang Li Jiao Er Zhui Du Er, Meng Yulo Sun Xue, Pan Jin Lian, and Li Ping Er. These 8 are all his wives and concubines, right? There's also that Chun Mei, Ing Chun, Xiu Chun, Lan Xiang Rui Er Huilian Wang Lu Er Sister Ben Huiyuan, Mrs. Lin Zhang Shichuan, Li Guijie, Zhang Ayu Wuiner. Okay, you don't need to say anymore. I'm ashamed. Also, I really don't want to be a romantic like Big Official, and leave my name for eternity. Su Yun hurriedly waved his hand. Why would I compare with him? He's a pan-donkey Deng Xiaoxian. We can't compare. Old Tophead laughed. I say, little brother, why are you so modest in front of me? You're the same as Westgate Big Official. You're both pan-donkey, Deng Xiaoxian. Ha ha ha. Su Yunjin was speechless. I'm not a flirtatious person. Don't throw dirty water on me. Old Tophead patted Su Yun's shoulder. Of course I know you're not that kind of person, but you can't let down those girls, right? Su Yun no longer spoke about the topic of the old man. The more this shameless old man talked about it, the more excited he became. If Sister Shuang and the others were to hear this, then he wouldn't be able to show his face here in the future. You don't need to worry about my feelings. You should worry about my body. Su Yun pulled the topic back. Stop going off topic. I can definitely deal with my relationship problems, but I really don't have the ability to deal with my body's problems. Brother, in your eyes, I'm just a little apothecary who knows a little. If you don't help me, no one can. Old Tophead's head swelled. You say this matter can't be considered a problem, or a good thing, but it can't be justified if there's no reason. Let me think. That's right. When did you start to feel the strength of your mental state rapidly increasing? Su Yun really had to ponder over this question. After he left the Dragon Fury team, because there was no systematic training and meditation place, Su Yun spent the majority of his time on breathing and calming his inner demons. It could be said that his strength didn't change at all. If there was a change, then it was a period of time before he dealt with Scarlet Scorpion. He faintly felt the bottleneck of his mental state loosen. It was also during that period of time that he broke through to the realm of a super expert. Think carefully. When your strength increased, what changes happened to your life? Or what changes happened to the things you ate? Or the environment? Or who you met? Old Tophead guided Su Yun bit by bit to recall. Su Yun's brain suddenly buzzed and went blank. At that time, his life had indeed changed. He had met Ruan Qingshuang and Guogua. The things he ate were normal, but the two people, Ruan Qingshuang and Guogua, had appeared in his life. Could it be that his own changes were really due to the change in his living environment? Or could it be that Su Yun's frightening thoughts really could be reality? Guogua's body really hid a frightening secret. She had the ability to cause the mental state of the people she was with to increase by leaps and bounds? But how could Chou Yun explain it? Why didn't Chou Yun have anything to do with it? Su Yun didn't dare to voice his own bold conjecture, but he felt that there was a need to investigate whether there were any other differences between him and Chou Yun. Old Tophead, stop drinking. Sober up. At night, check if there's any difference between my body and Chou Yun's. Do you still need me to check? Old Tophead stared blankly for a moment. Even if I'm dead drunk, I'll still know that you're the boss. Chou Yun is a girl. Do you still need to check? I'm not talking about the physiological structure. I'm talking about the difference in my cultivation and mental state. Su Yin said seriously. I want to know if there's anything different about me compared to her. Old Tophead shook his head. If it's you, I've been examining you for the past few days. You're very normal. Hey, are you saying that Cho Yun's body has something that can rapidly increase your strength? Wait, I've heard of this kind of thing where a man and a woman use yin and yang to jointly increase their strength, but this requires two people to do it. Could it be that the two of you have already rolled in the sheets? Old Tophead muttered to himself. Impossible. If my observation is correct, Cho Yun must also be a virgin. Old Tophead was still very confident in his ability to judge people. He didn't need to do anything to distinguish whether a woman was a virgin or not. Don't make wild guesses. If I tell you to check, then check. Isn't it just a matter of checking the pulse? Is it that difficult? Why is it so difficult for you to do everything? Su Yin said as he snatched the wine glass from Old Tophead. This old urchin really didn't hold back when drinking. Su Yin was afraid that he would get drunk. Chapter 371. There were no outsiders present, so Su Yin didn't need to be polite. If there was one, then there was one. If there was two, then there was two. When they were almost done drinking, they were ready to eat. After eating, they went back to their own homes and find their mothers, because there was no longer any problem with his body. The old man used the silver needles to force out the internal energy that injured people. Combined with the various elixirs in his small backpack, even if Su Yin died at that time, he estimated that he would be able to pull people back from the palace of the King of Hell. Under Su Yun's urging, Cho Yun cooperated and let the old man check her pulse. This time something really happened. The old man really felt that something was wrong, but he didn't say this to Cho Yun. Instead, after Cho Yun left, he told Su Yin. Cho Yun's body seemed to have something that sealed her state of mind, so it took her a long time to break through to the next stage. That thing that the old man couldn't say was especially inconceivable. It was obviously not innate. If it was innate, then Cho Yun would definitely not be able to become an expert. That thing seemed to be formed by an even more powerful expert using Zhen Qi. Although it seemed to be something that sealed Cho Yun's state of mind, it was actually protecting Cho Yun's state of mind. It was definitely not done by someone with evil intentions, because if it was done by someone with evil intentions, then it could completely seal Cho Yun's state of mind. In that way, Cho Yun would be completely reduced to a cripple. The person who did this definitely wanted to protect Cho Yun's state of mind. They were afraid that Cho Yun's state of mind would be unable to control herself because of the rapid increase in strength. Obviously, this wasn't a bad thing for Cho Yun. When the old man brought these words to Su Yun's ears, Su Yun felt that his bold guess was even more credible. This suspicion lingered in Su Yun's mind many times, but Su Yun never said it out loud. He wouldn't let the old man examine Guogua, because if there really was a secret on Guogua's body, then he definitely didn't want anyone to know. It wasn't that Su Yun didn't trust the old man, but he knew that the less people who knew about this, the less danger there would be. How did you know? Did Chao Nanshan tell you? Green Ghost's words echoed in Su Yun's ears once again. No, Su Yun had to go back to Suang and ask Chao Nanshan about it. If Guogua's secret was that she could bring about a rapid increase in the mental state of those around her, then Su Yun would definitely erase everyone who knew about this from their lives. But now Su Yun really couldn't leave. Green Ghost had seriously injured him. What if he came back for revenge? Old man, I have something to trouble you with. Su Yun was really grateful that the old man could appear by his side at this time. After all, the old man had been obsessed with medicine his whole life, but his own strength wasn't low. He was a famous Master Realm expert. With a Grandmaster Realm expert holding the fort, Su Yun was not afraid that Green Ghost would act rashly. Even if he was a super expert, in front of a Grandmaster Realm expert, he still had to weigh his own weight. The old man nodded. If you have something to say, then say it. You even got Sister Zhiling's signed underwear for me. If you ask me for something and I still don't agree, then it's really not good enough. Su Yun grinned and said, I knew you were a good person, brother. Then I won't be polite. I thought of something that needs to be dealt with, so I have to go out for 2 days. In these 2 days, I hope you can help me keep an eye on things here. Needless to say, you know why I'm worried. Because I don't even know if the person who injured me like that is dead or alive. No problem, I promise you. The old man nodded. But I'll also tell you, you can rest assured. The person who injured you probably didn't have a good ending. Otherwise, wouldn't he have taken advantage of your weakest moment to finish you off? Would he have to wait for you to recover before fighting with you in the open? Unless he was kicked by a donkey after his brain was flooded with water. Suyin just smiled. He had thought about this problem before. Green Ghost might have suffered serious internal injuries from his last full force attack. But after all, he didn't see what Green Ghost looked like with his own eyes. The old man added, I can guarantee that the fate of that grandson is probably not as lucky as you. At least you met me. What about him? Who could he have met? Speaking to this point, Suyin couldn't help but think one step further. Since Green Ghost had already joined the Netherworld King's subordinates, then if he was injured, he wouldn't lack fierce doctors from the underground world to help him. Brother, do you know Peng Jiuanda? And Peng Jiuanda, that guy who calls himself Ghost Doctor? The old man clearly looked down on the other party. Doesn't he just like to do some crooked things? If we're talking about difficult diseases, he's not even fit to carry my shoes. Pa Ghost Doctor? In my eyes, he's just a quack. Suyin shook his head and smiled. Isn't everyone a quack in your eyes? Old man, sometimes you should be a bit more low-key. The doctor by the Netherworld King's side has been called trash by you. That's a bit too much. I know you're powerful and think of yourself as noble and virtuous, but we have to be low-key low-key. The old man spat again. Low-key my ass. I haven't returned for so many years. Isn't that low-key enough? Now that this mess of trash is so high-profile, why should I be low-key? I'll open a clinic later. F***CK, if you want to see a doctor, then help me do something first. If you can't do it, even if you give me 100 million, I still won't give you a prescription. The old man who was speaking with great ambition suddenly froze and asked, What did you just say? Peng Jiuanda is by the Netherworld King's side? With his skills, would Lung Chen take a liking to him? Wait, brother, let me think about it. You mean that the person who hurt you might find Peng Jiuanda to treat him? And Peng Jiuanda is Netherworld King Lung Chen's subordinate. Then the enemy you offended is someone by Lung Chen's side. At the end, the old man couldn't help but become excited. After all, Lung Chen's name was too famous. The old man finally couldn't help but let out a surprised sigh and a completely stunned expression. Suyin pondered for a moment. If that was the case, then Green Ghost really was someone under the Netherworld King. Yes, that person is under Lung Chen's command. Suyin, are you crazy? You can provoke anyone, but you have to provoke that kind of person? Do you think that your life is too long? The old man couldn't help but get angry. Don't you know what kind of situation you're in right now? To put it nicely, you were invited out by the army. To put it bluntly, the army told you to scram. You don't have your group of helpers by your side. Also, I know what kind of person Wang Yi is. He puts the country's interests first. If you and the Netherworld King have a conflict, Wang Yi definitely won't interfere, because that will definitely harm the country's interests. Don't tell me you don't know this? That bastard Shurzuan of yours is such a selfless bastard. Otherwise, would he be willing to kick you out? The more the old man spoke, the more agitated he became. In the end, he slammed the table and stood up. Fortunately, there were only the two of them in Su Yun's room. Also, the others wouldn't disturb the conversation between the two brothers today. The important thing was that Ruan Qingshuang and the others were really tired. They needed a good sleep and a thorough rest. In the 5 days that Su Yun hadn't woken up, they hadn't slept a single day. Brother, don't be so agitated. Su Yun hurriedly comforted the old man. Yes. I know you don't like my Shurzuan, but he's my Shurzuan after all. You keep calling him a bastard, I can't hold my face. The old man glared at Su Yun. That's why I can pee in the same pot as a little bastard like you. You're really loyal. Let me tell you, brother, don't let me see Wang Yi in Huaxia. If I see him, I'll definitely beat him up. He can't even protect such a good disciple like you. What else can he do? Bullshit, Lieutenant General. Even a lieutenant colonel can send his son to a good place. He's a lieutenant general, and he actually kicked you out. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Why did old Zhang give you to him back then? Suyin didn't want to think about those messy things. Everyone had their own difficulties, and everyone had their own principles. Although at that time, when his Shizuan, Wang Yi, told him to leave for a period of time to cultivate his mind, Suyin did have some resistance. He couldn't believe that Wang Yi had said this to him personally. But now, after a long time, Suyin also understood him. There was no other way. Shizuan was such a person. Suyin was able to join the Dragon Fury team. It could be said that he relied on his connections to get in through the back door. But Wang Yi didn't take care of him at all. He trained as he should, and if he didn't listen, he scolded him. He even told him to get lost if he couldn't do it. Suyin was trained like this. Wang Yi never gave him more than a smile, and never gave him less than a scolding. Okay, old Bumpy. Between you two brothers, it's between you two brothers. We're different. Although we're brothers, your brother is still my Shizuan. Suyin said with a smile. I'll put down my words first. I'll leave these 2 days to you. I'll leave early tomorrow morning. Old Topsy-Turvy still hadn't recovered from his anger. He just nodded and casually took off his clothes to take a bath. Because Ruan Qingshuang felt that Suyin and Old Bumpy should have a lot to talk about, she didn't prepare a room for Old Bumpy alone. Old Bumpy had always been like this. It didn't matter where he lived. He wouldn't feel embarrassed to live in the same room as Suyin. Suyin saw that Old Bumpy went to take a shower, so he called Chang and asked him to pick him up at the hotel at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. This time he brought Chang to Swang and let Chang drive. It was just to prevent himself from falling asleep without any symptoms. That way, at least someone could bring him back. Moreover, there wasn't any danger to find Chao Nanshan this time. So Suyin felt that bringing Chang was enough to deal with ordinary matters. It wasn't a big deal. He could handle it himself. He didn't plan to tell Ruan Qingshuang and the others in advance. He was afraid that they would stop him because they were worried. Chapter 372. The next day, Suyin woke up at 5:30 a.m. and packed up. At 6 a.m. sharp, he left the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel with Chang, who was waiting for him downstairs. The old man naturally heard Suyin wake up, but he did not open his eyes. He continued to sleep comfortably. Suyin was an adult. He did not need him to instruct him to do his own things. He was not a woman. He did not have to be so indecisive. Chang was very excited. This was the first time he was going on a long trip with Suyin. It was to a big city like Swang. Of course he was excited. In the past, Chang was a hooligan on the streets of Hudong City. Now he was a respected brother Chang. Therefore, Chang took this trip very seriously. He was dressed in a small suit, a white shirt and a tie. In the words of Hudong City, he was really shameless. How is it, Brother Yin? I'm not embarrassing you, right? It's a few thousand yuan. As Chang drove, he did not forget to tidy up his tie. Brother, aren't you dressed too casually? Aren't you going to do something? Why are you wearing casual clothes? Suyin was wearing a sports casual jacket, hiking pants and a pair of white shoes. No matter how one looked at it, he looked like he was going out to fish for nothing. He did not look like he was going to do anything at all. I think I'm embarrassing you by dressing like this, Suyin said angrily. If we stand there, we'll definitely treat you as the boss. Really? Don't. Brother Yin, don't say that. Alright, I think I should go home and change. Chang felt awkward wearing clothes that cost a few thousand yuan. I'll get dressed casually too. Look at me. It's like I'm going to meet the president of a foreign country. Suyin smiled. There's no need to change. Let's go quickly. We'll get there before noon. Let's finish it as soon as possible. I still have to find someone when we reach Swang. Chang didn't say anything else. He just focused on driving. Brother, you woke up so early. Lie down and take a nap. What song do you want to listen to? I'll play it for you. I have all kinds of songs here. Well, whatever. As long as you don't play that Uncle Bird's I'm going to stuff my anus, it's fine. There's no end to it in the streets and alleys. It's really disgusting. Let's make the song more emotional. By the way, turn off your phone. I'm afraid that someone will cause trouble for you later. Suyin sat comfortably in the car. Being the boss of a luxury car was the most comfortable. He didn't have to drive it himself. Although Chang didn't understand what Soo-Yun meant, he still followed Soo-Yun's request and turned off his phone. Then he put on the lyrical music and sped all the way. He directly got on the Liangjiang Expressway at the east entrance of Jibei. If he drove at a normal speed, he would definitely reach Shuang City before noon. In the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, Ruan Qingshuang was angry when she heard that Soo-Yun had left long ago. She kept saying, "This is nonsense. Why don't you take a look at your body's condition? You just woke up and you went out again. What's the hurry?" The old man yawned. With so many women angry, he didn't have any intention of exonerating Soo-Yun. It was said that a woman was equivalent to 500 ducks. Even if this woman was a top-grade beauty, she was still equivalent to 500 ducks. Not a single duck could be missing. There was no discount. The old man didn't want to be quarreled to death by 2,000 ducks, so he obediently chose to remain silent. "I really can't do anything about him." Cho Yun was also angry, but she still had to send Guogua to school. "Sister Qingshuang, I'll take Guogua away first." "Don't be angry. There's no point in being angry. Anyway, he's already left." "Well, take care." Ruan Qingshuang nodded. Qin Wan endured for a long time and finally couldn't bear it anymore. She pointed at Dan Jiahao and asked, "Did you see clearly that it was Chang who came to pick up Soo-Yun?" Dan Jiahao was afraid of getting into trouble, so he quickly nodded. "I'm very sure that it was Brother Chang's car. He went straight east after picking up Brother Yin. Before Brother Yin came down, I talked to Brother Chang for a while. Brother Chang said that he was going to the province to do something big." To be honest, Dan Jiahao was very envious. He also wanted to go out with Soo-Yun to do something big. Bullshit. Qin Wan'er was so angry that she cursed. It's not like Chang doesn't know Soo-Yun's condition. How can he take him away casually? No, I have to call Chang and ask him to bring Soo-Yun back immediately. Wan'er, I think we should forget about it. At this time, they must be on the highway. It's not convenient to answer the phone while driving on the highway. Tang Jio was more sensible and stopped her. Ruan Qingshuang heard that it was a matter of safety and nodded. "Safety first. Don't call. They may not listen to you even if you call. One of them doesn't drive." Qin Wan'er snorted and then dialed Soo-Yun's phone. Soon the robot's message told her, "Sorry, the number you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." How dare he turn off his phone? Qin Wan'er was even more angry. She immediately dialed Chang's phone. Again the message was, "Sorry, the number you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." Isn't it obvious that he turned off his phone? He's afraid that we will call and question him. Qin Wan'er was so angry that she almost threw her phone. Obviously, Soo-Yun told Chang not to turn on his phone. This guy obviously doesn't listen to us. The old man smiled helplessly. "Allow me to say something, I'll just say something. You guys must be very annoyed with me right now because I let Soo-Yun go without telling you guys. But I want to say that since I dared to let him go, it means that his body is really fine." Ruan Qingshuang shook her head embarrassedly. "Mr. Wu, please don't say that. We can't thank you enough. How can we be annoyed with you? Please don't say that. It's great that you can be so understanding." The old man was really afraid that he wouldn't be able to please him. When Tang Jio saw that Soo-Yun had also left, she also proposed to return to Jibei. Her driver and secretary were waiting for her in Hudong City. She hadn't been home for a week. Now it was the initial design of the artificial river project. She needed to check it out. As for the refurbishment of the river, she had already given this job to the engineering team of the Three Tigers of Nanchang, Lufeng, 3 days ago. This gave her a reason to stay in Hudong City for a week. Otherwise, if she returned to the company, there would definitely be gossip. Since Tang Jio insisted on leaving, Ruan Qingshuang and Qin Wan'er didn't ask her to stay. After all, she was a family and could come back at any time. After Soo-Yun's life and death situation, the relationship between the women had changed subtly. After all, they had served the same man together. Qin Wan'er suddenly realized that she had been fired for a week, and no one had sent her any news of returning to work. It seemed that she really needed to find some evidence that could be used against Feng Guoqing before she could return to the police station. When the women in the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel left and busied themselves, the hotel finally returned to its former tranquility. Dan Jiahao held the martial arts secret book and muttered it over and over again. He could now memorize the 12 sections of the brocade formula very skillfully, regardless of whether he understood it or not. Dan Jiahao now felt that he had the demeanor of an immortal. Especially when he was facing the old man, he always had a very grateful smile on his face. It was as if the old man had brought him into a world of cultivation. The old man felt embarrassed every time. He felt that Dan Jiahao had misunderstood him, because the 12 sections of the brocade formula wasn't that magical. After a morning of running, Su Yin and Chang finally arrived in Suang City. Su Yin didn't know if it was because the corrupt officials in Suang City had all fallen from power, but the sky in Suang City seemed especially bright. "Brother, where are we going now?" Qiangzi's excitement increased again. "Let's find a hotel to stay in first," Su Yin said. "Anywhere. Look around." Chang groped his way through the streets of Suang City. Looking at the beautiful women on the streets, he felt refreshed. Soon he found a chain hotel. The standard wasn't too high, but it was very good. It could be said that it was about the same level as the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. However, Suang was a big city, so this standard hotel wasn't like the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel in Hudong City. It was a landmark building. Originally, Chang thought that after finding the hotel, he could face more difficult challenges. In the end, Su Yin said that he could watch TV or walk around in the hotel. It was also good to go to the hotel's internal coffee shop and bar to pick up girls. He wanted to go out and do something himself. Upon hearing this, Chang was unwilling. "Brother, I didn't come out with you to watch TV. It's just for fun. Look at what I'm wearing. You should know that I'm really here to help you. Aren't you making me feel uncomfortable if you go alone?" "Chang, it's not that I don't want you to go, but you'll be helping me if you stay here." Su Yin knew how Chang felt. In order not to make Chang feel bad, Su Yin could only lie. "Because we're being followed, I have to let you stay here to attract the other party's attention." This time, Chang Zi was energized. However, his spirit was quickly suppressed by nervousness. After all, even Big Brother Yun had almost died from his injuries a few days ago. If Brother Yun's opponent came to find trouble with him, he would die without a burial ground. But don't worry. I guarantee that they won't dare to do anything in the hotel. As long as you don't leave the hotel, they'll think that I'm still in the room. The more Su Yin made it up, the more upset he felt. However, this was a last resort. He didn't have time to explain it to Chang. When Chang believed him, Su Yin left in relief. It was nonsense that someone was following them, so he could rest assured that Chang was alone in the hotel. Thus, he quickly went out and hailed a taxi. To the Qing clubhouse. "Brother, you haven't been in Suang for a while, right? Something happened to the clubhouse and it's been closed." The taxi driver was quite kind and greeted Su Yin. Su Yin smiled. "Yes, it's fine. Just go." Chapter 373. Even if the taxi driver didn't remind Su Yin that the Qing clubhouse was gone, Su Yin didn't think that he could come to the Qing clubhouse to find the person he was looking for. With such a big thing happening, Chao Nanshan would be an idiot if he didn't run away. Since he had already run away, if Su Yin wanted to find him, the only clue he could find was the Qing clubhouse. Although it sounded like an almost impossible task, Su Yin could only try his best. At present, finding Chao Nanshan and confirming Green Ghost's secret was Su Yin's top priority. Su Yin was very clear about this potential danger. If he didn't deal with it in time, it would bring him endless trouble. Soon, the taxi took Su Yin to the Qing clubhouse that had been sealed up. What Su Yin didn't expect was that after so many days, there would still be uniformed people working here. It seemed that this matter was really big, and the Suang police were really going all out. Before Su Yin got close, 2 uniformed police officers had already noticed Su Yin. They stared at Su Yin as if they wanted to see through his thoughts. Su Yin quickly understood that he came here for nothing. At this time, if he dared to take a step forward, he would definitely be treated as a suspect and arrested for interrogation. But now that Su Yin was being watched, It also meant that he fell into a dilemma. If he went forward, he would be arrested to cooperate with the investigation. If he turned around and left now, he would definitely be regarded as guilty. And that would be even more suspicious. This really made Su-yin a little difficult. Just as the two people staring at Su-yin began to suspect, Su-yin said with a Hong Kong and Taiwanese accent, "Sorry to ask, Mr. Policeman, I want to ask, why is such a good place closed? I was going to bring my partners to play at night." Upon hearing the Hong Kong-Taiwan accent, the police officer who had been watching Su-yin relaxed his vigilance and waved his hand at him. "This place has been sealed off. Something big has happened. You'd better take your partner somewhere else to play. It's best if they're far away from here." "Oh, such a good place. What a pity." As Su-yin spoke, he retreated and left. His mouth kept on cursing Gang Chong. My apologies for causing you trouble." Just when Su-yin took a few steps back, the police officer was still suspicious. If a Hong Kong and Taiwan businessman was doing business in Suong, and could even come to the most luxurious private club in Suong to entertain his friends, how could he not even have a car? He even took a taxi? A bottle of red wine in the Chin Club costs more than 10,000 yuan. Even if only 4 or 5 people came to eat here, it would cost at least tens of thousands of yuan. Just when the police officer was suspicious, a flashy and flirtatious Ferrari FF came roaring from afar. Then it slammed on the brakes and stopped beside Su-yin. The police officer was stunned for a moment and quickly dispelled his suspicion. Even if that guy took a taxi just now, it must be a special situation. If he was a poor man, how could he know someone who drove a Ferrari? Su-yin was also stunned for a while. If someone wanted to kill him suddenly appeared in the car, he could understand and believe it. If a beautiful woman appeared and said that she was attracted by his sexy figure, he could also understand and believe it. However, when the car window rolled down, he saw a cynical smile. He even said to him proudly, "Brother-in-law, my sister's prediction is really accurate. She said that you might come back again, and you really came back." That's right. The young man in the car didn't recognize the wrong person. He called Su-yin brother-in-law because he was the younger brother of the white-lipped bamboo Lifao Zua Meiyan. "Zua Yeming, your sister is mentally unstable. Are you mentally unstable too?" Su-yin cracked his knuckles. He knew that Zua Yeming actually wanted to fight with him to see if he was better than him. "What are you doing in Suong?" "Brother-in-law, it's none of your business, right? My legs are on my body. If you can come to Suong, why can't I?" Zua Yeming grinned. "Get in the car, let's talk somewhere else." After that, he was afraid that Su-yin wouldn't get in, so he added, "If you don't want the police to be suspicious." Based on Zua Yeming's words, Su-yin knew that this guy must know a lot. It wasn't a bad thing to ask him to understand the situation. Su-yin nodded and flipped into the car. Zua Yeming chuckled and stepped on the accelerator. With a roar, the Ferrari rushed out like a ferocious beast. Su-yin let Zua Yeming take him to a high-end coffee shop that was not too far away. A BMW 3 Series was parked in front of the shop. There was no space in front of the shop, so Zua Yeming had to park the car diagonally in front of the shop. The shop owner saw that it was a Ferrari and didn't say anything. This thing could help attract customers if it was parked in front of the shop. The two entered the shop and went to the second floor, where the environment was better. After ordering 2 cups of coffee, Zua Yeming said with a cheeky smile, "Brother-in-law, this one is on you. I've been waiting here for you for many days. I don't have much money on me. If you didn't come, I would have gone to the streets to beg for money for dinner." "You drove a Ferrari to beg for money?" Su-yin was really speechless. "How dare you take me to such a high-end coffee shop to drink coffee without money? Can't you just find a Starbucks?" Zua Yeming shrugged. "Brother-in-law, aren't there many people in those shops? I know you must have something to ask me. That's why I took you to such a quiet place." This place was really quiet. A normal person wouldn't be stupid enough to drink such expensive coffee. Just now Su-yin took a look at the tea list. The cup of top-grade Blue Mountain coffee he ordered was actually priced at 766 renminbi per cup. What the hell? If this was a real Blue Mountain coffee, Su-yin would accept it. However, the production of real Blue Mountain coffee was only 40,000 bags per year. Moreover, because Japan had been investing in the Jamaican coffee industry, most of the Blue Mountain coffee was now in the hands of the Japanese. They also had the priority to buy Blue Mountain coffee. Every year, 90% of the Blue Mountain coffee was bought by the Japanese. Therefore, among the many countries in the world, only 10% of the Blue Mountain coffee could be bought. Therefore, no matter the price, the demand for Blue Mountain coffee always exceeded the supply. The so-called Blue Mountain coffee, sold in the coffee shops and hotels in Huaxia, could be said to be 9,999% of the coffee was not real Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. They were coffee made with coffee beans from other places. Therefore, even if this cup of coffee was sold at such a high price, Suyin still wouldn't believe that this thing was real. At this time, there were really 3 silly young people who came to drink coffee on the second floor of the shop. The man was dressed from head to toe in famous brands like Armani and Prada. The 2 girls were also holding Louis Vuitton and Gucci bags in their hands. Obviously, only those who lived a luxurious life could afford to spend money here. The 3 of them sat beside Su Yin and Zui Yiming. The men were laughing and joking, and the 2 girls were laughing so hard that their cleavage swayed. They didn't care about the other guests around them at all, as if this was their home. Su Yin suspected that if he and Zui Yiming weren't here, the 3 of them would really dare to play some random game. Then if you have anything to say, just say it. I have other things to do. Su Yin didn't care about the price of the coffee and drank it directly. Zui Yiming looked at the coffee that cost more than 700 yuan in Su Yin's stomach directly. He was so angry that he almost fainted and rolled his eyes. Seeing this, the man next to him let out a disdainful sound and said coldly, "Country bumpkin." The man also wanted a cup of Blue Mountain coffee. Seeing Su Yin drinking it like that, he elegantly thought that it was a waste of natural resources. He picked up the cup and slowly tasted it with an intoxicated look on his face. Little did he know that he was paying a high price to taste the high-quality imitation Blue Mountain coffee elegantly. Su Yin didn't care. Others could say whatever they wanted. He just wanted to know if there was anything valuable in Zui Yiming's mouth. Therefore, he didn't even pay attention to the young man beside him. The 2 long-legged girls sitting with the young man also began to snort. "Young Master Peng, why bother with this kind of person? He thinks he's rich just because he bought a BMW 3 Series. TSK, what's the big deal?" That's right, that's right." The other girl also chimed in. "Our young Master Peng has good taste. A Porsche Panamera. How much is 1,000,000 yuan?" The young man looked proud. "Not much, not much. 13 million yuan. After everything is done, it'll be 27 million yuan. Young Master Peng is rich. The insurance for this car alone costs 30,000 yuan a year, right?" The long-legged girl continued to praise. The young man was so happy that he wanted to reach out and pinch the girl. Su Yin didn't care about this. If he didn't like to listen, he wouldn't listen. He just pretended that there was no one around. However, Zui Yiming couldn't stand it. He was disgusted and turned around to face the young man. "1. 13 million yuan. That's the lowest quality Panamera." Zui Yiming had a sly smile on his face. He deliberately emphasized the words lowest quality loudly. These 3 words were like a resounding slap to the young man's face. Su Yin smiled and didn't stop Zui Yiming from doing so. He also enjoyed the feeling of slapping the fool's face. There were many people in the world who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. They all thought that he was the most powerful person in the world. Think about it carefully. What are you so powerful about? No matter how powerful you are, can you be more powerful than the chairman? The chairman is so low-key. What do you have to be powerful about? The young man's face turned red after hearing Zui Yiming's words. He didn't know how to refute. Fortunately, the girl beside the young man helped him out. "So what if it's the lowest quality? It's still a car worth more than 1,000,000 yuan. It's much better than a BMW 3 Series, right?" Chapter 374. Zui Yiming glanced at the girl's snow-white chest. "Miss, you're wearing so little. Aren't you cold? You don't look bad. You don't have to show off so much in order to catch a rich guy of this level, right?" Oh, I know. You're too black so you can't be a fan anymore? So there's no other way. I can only worship this rich guy who's going to be a spare tire. Suyin couldn't help but laugh. Zui Yiming's mouth was really vicious. If the young man didn't fight him to the death, then he would be too weak. Sure enough, young Master Peng didn't let Suyin down at all. He was angry on the spot. Mocking him for being a horse and not having any fans was like rubbing salt on his wound. You're the F***king spare tire. Do you want to die? Do you F***king know who I am? You're driving a Porsche Panamera. You're definitely not a kid from an ordinary family. Zui Yiming's face was still full of a cynical smile. And these green TB * cheese won't go looking for kids from ordinary families. Brother, listen to my advice. You can play around, but don't let others treat you like a rich guy. If you buy these 2 girls a Versace today, maybe they'll wear it to the ocean and sky banquet tomorrow to do business together. What a venomous tongue. Suyin really admired this kid. He remembered that 3 years ago, this kid didn't have such a glib tongue. Now he actually had some of his own shadow. Not bad, not bad. He's definitely a moldable talent. F***ck. The young man shouted angrily. He picked up the coffee in his hand and was about to splash it on Zui Yiming's face. However, Zui Yiming just casually pushed his hand. With a tap, the cup of coffee directly splashed on the 2 seductresses, instantly causing them to scream. The young man saw that he was at a disadvantage and wanted to make another move. Zui Yiming was too lazy to play with him. He stood up and smashed down. It could be said that he smashed the young man's face and directly made him kneel on the ground. That's enough. Suyin finally spoke up to stop him. It was fine to be vicious with your words, but don't really hurt other people's children. After all, Zui Yiming had also received the true teachings of his godfather, Zhang Taisui. He was definitely a first-class master. If they really fought, he could pinch this young man to death with a single finger. Zui Yiming turned around and sat down. All right, brother-in-law, I'll listen to you. If there's anything you want to ask, just ask. Just you wait. Young Master Peng, who was supported up by the 2 girls, was indeed frightened. However, when he saw that the other party did not continue to attack, he became more courageous. Don't leave if you have the guts. Suyin was interrupted just as he was about to speak. Of course, he was also annoyed. He, who had been silent all this time, suddenly raised his head and glared at him. 2 dull but majestic words came out of his mouth. Get lost. His piercingly cold gaze directly penetrated young Master Peng's courage. Young Master Peng staggered and hurriedly went downstairs with the help of the 2 girls to settle the bill and leave. Zui Yiming was shocked by the cold aura emanating from Suyun's body. He hurriedly said, Brother-in-law, don't pay attention to them. They're just trash. Would you like another glass? We've talked a lot of nonsense. Why are you in Suang? Suyin went straight to the point. Zui Yiming was a chatterbox. He should be more straightforward with him. Otherwise, the topic would turn to the Somali pirates again. He was afraid that they would not be able to get an answer even after 3 to 5 hours. Zui Yiming also stopped being frivolous. My sister asked me to come. Why did she ask you to come? Suyin was stunned. Of course, she asked me to clean up the mess for you. At the same time, I also wanted to find out what kind of trouble you caused in Snong. Zui Yiming grinned again. It's just that I really didn't expect that you could cause such an earth-shattering thing, brother-in-law. To be honest, I really didn't think highly of you in the past, but this time, I'm really convinced. I really didn't expect you to be so bold as to cause such a big commotion in the tiger's den alone. Suyin was not interested in his flattery. Did your sister ask you to come here and ask Secretary Zhang about the general situation? To sound him out and see if anyone is targeting me? Brother-in-law, you think too much. If you don't want them to target you, then they definitely won't target you. I don't doubt that at all. Zui Yiming said, my sister just asked me to get a general understanding. She's worried about you. You know that, right? Suyin nodded, indicating that he understood Zui Meiyan's intention. Then I have something to ask you. How did you know that if I came to Swang, I would appear in the Qin Club? Zui Yiming shrugged his shoulders. Because I know that Lakeside View and Qin Clubhouse must be your doing. However, Lakeside View has already been investigated and sealed up. The government is about to auction off the 8 villas there. I don't think you will go, and the Chin Club, how should I put it? It's intuition. My intuition told me that you would come here. Why didn't my intuition tell me that you would be here? Suyin muttered and asked again. Since you have been targeting the Chin Club for a while, then I want to ask you, where is the boss of the club, Chao Nanshan? Has he been handed over to the police, or has he run away? Zui Yiming shook his head. Neither. Suyin frowned. He seemed to realize that there was indeed a third answer. He's dead. Zui Yiming continued, and he died quite miserably. Brother-in-law, why are you looking for him? Nothing. Suyin shook his head. Why didn't he think of Chao Nanshan's death? Because this was the most likely result. Although Suyin couldn't confirm whether Guoguo's secret was what he thought it was, at least this mouth was completely sealed. However, Suyin thought that this was probably not good news. Although Chao Nanshan's death could ensure that Chao Nanshan's mouth was sealed. However, Suyin couldn't be sure that Chao Nanshan didn't tell others this secret before his death. Do you know how Chao Nanshan died? Have you seen him since you came here? Suyin asked. Zui Yiming shook his head. After I came here, Chao Nanshan was already dead. He died in this club. Obviously, he was killed, but I don't know who killed him. The police in Swang are still investigating. Brother-in-law, do you know who the murderer is? Suyin sighed. Do you think I'm Detective Conan? Chao Nanshan's death meant that everything was over. Suyun's trip to Swang was in vain. The only thing he gained was that he met Zui Yiming. He even lent Zui Yiming 1,000 yuan as the highway toll. Suyin didn't understand why Zui Meiyan was so stingy with him. Was this brother of hers really related to her? After paying the bill, the two pushed the door open and left. However, the scene at the door completely shocked them. Young Master Peng, who had been humiliated by them, was leading 5 or 6 brothers to smash the 3 Series BMW at the door. They were smashing it very hard. There were many onlookers, but no one dared to stop them. At this time, Suyin finally understood why the coffee in this cafe was so expensive. It was well decorated and had good soundproofing. The two of them were on the second floor, but they didn't hear the loud noise on the first floor. When enemies met, their eyes turned red. When the young man saw Suyin and Zui Yiming coming downstairs, he sneered. Do you know that this is the result of offending me? I smashed this car. What can you do to me? After that, the young man's 5 or 6 brothers all stood behind him. They looked like they were not afraid of trouble. The 2 long-legged girls also stared at Zui Yiming fiercely. Because of Zui Yiming's push, their branded clothes were stained by the coffee. Zui Yiming shrugged. Just smash it. It's none of my business. Suyin was also puzzled. There were really all kinds of crazy people in this society. How much did this person hate the 3 Series BMW? Why did he not like it? He belittled it upstairs and smashed it downstairs. Young Master Peng was also puzzled now. He had smashed their car like this, but they were not angry? Their temper was too good. It was like they were 2 different people upstairs. Then young Master Peng was dumbfounded, because Zui Yiming and Suyin actually ignored him and walked straight to the Ferrari FF that had been dazzling everyone's eyes. The 2 of them sat in the car, and Zui Yiming rolled down the window and looked out in disbelief. This time, young Master Peng was dumbfounded. Just now, when he and a few friends smashed the 3 Series BMW, he told them not to hurt the Ferrari FF. It was more than 3 million. Obviously, this was something that only first-rate rich people in Swang could afford to play with. As for young Master Peng, who drove a Wampanera of more than 1 million, second-rate rich people like them could not afford to offend a first-rate rich person. Now, it was not difficult for anyone to understand why they dared to smash the BMW 328 Li. Because in Swang, people who drove 328s were at most third-rate rich people. They could afford to offend them. They could afford to smash it. They could afford to pay for it. Girls, your clothes are dirty. Why don't I drive you to Dior to buy some clothes? Before Zui Yiming drove away, he deliberately stopped in front of the 2 girls and said to them with a smile. The faces of the 2 girls changed really quickly. They immediately walked up to Zui Yiming and squeezed their cleavage with a smile on their faces. Can I, handsome? Thank you so much. As the two talked, they were secretly happy that they had hooked two bigger rich people. Thank your sister. I was just joking. You believe me? You are really big-breasted but brainless. Zhuo Yiming sneered and stepped on the gas pedal. He did not look at the two girls whose faces had turned red. Because the two girls were so greedy, young Master Peng was also angry. He went forward and scolded them for being trash. The two girls did not hold back and fell out with young Master Peng on the spot. They shouted at him, saying that he was driving a broken Wampanera to show off. In the end, he kicked a big stone that drove a Ferrari. He deserved it. However, they did not have a good time. The owner of the smashed BMW 3 came. A woman saw her beloved car being smashed and immediately made a call. Soon, the man who raised her came. Young Master Peng was dumbfounded. The owner of the BMW was Zhu Laohei's mistress. Zhu Laohei was considered a well-known figure in the Suzhou and Hangzhou underworld, so he gave them a good beating. In fact, this proud young man should be sober. Fortunately, Su Yun had left. If Su Yun was here, Zhu Laohei would directly beat them to death and feed them to the dogs when he saw that they dared to provoke Su Yun. Chapter 375. After the two of them left the ripoff coffee shop, Su Yun asked Zhuo Yiming to send him back to his hotel. Zhuo Yiming didn't hesitate to drive Su Yun to his destination. When Su Yun got out of the car and was about to leave, he asked, "Brother-in-law, how many days are you going to stay here?" Su Yun thought for a moment and said, "I'm not sure. Do you have anything else to say?" "What I mean is, if you feel bored by yourself, I can stay with you." Zhuo Yiming smiled and said, "But brother-in-law, you know that my sister is too harsh on me. I don't have much money in my pocket, so can you help me? Didn't I give you 1,000 for the toll? It's enough for you. I don't need you to stay with me. I'll solve my own problems." Su Yun shook his head and said, "Well, you should go back to Jibei. I won't keep you. Bye-bye. Don't treat me as a nouveau riche. I don't have much money. Also, don't call me brother-in-law in the future. Your sister and I haven't even started dating yet." "No, it should be said that we haven't even started dating." Zhuo Yiming didn't seem to mind at all. "Okay, brother-in-law." "No, brother, I'll go play first. Don't make me promise. Think about it. Let's talk about it at night. I'll take you out for dinner tonight." Su Yun didn't agree and walked directly back to the hotel. Zhuo Yiming looked at the gas gauge. There was no more gas, so he went directly to the gas station. Anyway, he had asked Su Yun for 1,000 yuan. He didn't want to cheat Su Yun of his money, but he really didn't have any money. Sports cars used a lot of gas, so the gas tank was also big. After filling up, Zhuo Yiming spent 800 yuan of the 1,000 yuan that Su Yun gave him. If he didn't get some gas at night, Zhuo Yiming still didn't have enough money to go back to Jibei. Yes, he couldn't even pay the toll of the highway. Anyway, there was only 200 yuan left. Zhuo Yiming didn't care so much. Since Su Yun didn't want to treat him to lunch, the 200 yuan was enough for him to find a place to eat. As soon as Su Yun returned to his and Chang's hotel room, he smelled a delicious smell. Chang had just ordered pizza and steak from the hotel, but because Su Yun said that he was not allowed to go out, he did not dare to go out. Just now, Chang looked out of the window and saw Su Yun getting in and out of the Ferrari. "Great, I'm hungry too. Is there enough food?" Su Yun said as he washed his hands and came to the front of the delicacies. Obviously, Chang had ordered a lot of things, enough for 3 people to eat. Thus, he did not hold back and directly attacked. "Oh my God. Brother Yun, who is that?" Chang asked Su Yun with his eyes wide open as he ate the pizza. Su Yun glanced at him. "What do you mean by who?" "The guy who drove the Ferrari, I saw him from upstairs." Chang's eyes widened. "Brother Yun, to be able to drive that thing, he has to be a first-class rich kid in Suang, right? If he was in Hudong, he would definitely be a first-class car." After thinking about it, they were already considered first-class in Hudong with Su Yun. If it was a luxury car, it would at most be a BMW 7 Series or a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. 2 million was definitely the limit of what they could afford. Thus he changed his words. "He's definitely a top-notch car, even more impressive than us. Aren't there a lot of rich people in big cities?" Su Yun said, "No one. I just met a friend. Well, hurry up and eat. Let's go back to Hudong after eating. Xiangzi was taken aback. Big brother Yin, you're done with your business? So fast. Chang found it hard to believe this speed. It didn't seem like he was here to do something. It seemed like he was here to meet someone. Brother, since we're already here, let's play here for a day. There seem to be quite a lot of beauties at the nightclub in Swang, right? Hee brother, I was playing with a Mo on this phone just now. I asked a few girls around to play tonight. Su Yin ate his pizza calmly and continued. The person I came here to find is already dead, so I didn't do what I wanted to do. I'm sorry, Chang. I'm really not in the mood to play. This time, Chang did not dare to say anything about staying to play. Why did Swang sound so dangerous? Lives could be lost just like that. This was not Hudong. Chang did not feel safe anymore. It's okay, brother Yin. Let's go back. We'll play when you're in the mood. After Qiangzi finished speaking, he sped up his eating speed. Now, Qiangzi didn't have a good impression of Swang anymore. He was afraid that if he stayed here for another minute, he would also be left here. After the two of them had a meal at the hotel, they took the deposit and left. Although Chang was a little tired from the continuous journey, Chang still forced himself to rush back. Suyin did not say much on the way. His mind was too complicated. It was so complicated that he did not even want to move or think. Suyun's head hurt when he thought of the shocking secret that Guogua might have. Could it really be related to Guogua that his mental strength had increased so quickly? Chou Yun had the power that almost sealed the growth of her mental strength, but she could still break through and advance. Could it really be related to Guogua? Anyone who was with Guogua could improve by leaps and bounds. Just thinking about this conclusion made Suyun's heart skip a beat. It was too terrifying. It was so terrifying that he did not dare to admit it. Who else could help him? Suyun thought until his brain broke. He only had one hope left. He hoped that the Azure Dragon would bring him good news as soon as possible. He hoped that Yumarin was safe. Suyun believed that Yumarin would definitely be able to give him an answer. He knew that 2 years ago, Yumarin had proposed an experiment. She said that she could create a special substance that was very beneficial to experts who had entered the door through the reaction between several substances. However, as soon as this experiment was proposed, it was immediately rejected by the higher-ups. Indeed, many people wanted to know whether this kind of thing existed or not. However, everyone knew that once this experiment was successful and the existence of this substance was confirmed, wouldn't the world be in chaos? At that time, Yumarin had suffered a blow. When Su Yin comforted her, he asked her a question. He asked her how she thought of researching this kind of substance. This was obviously a very taboo thing. Even if it was researched, it would be imprisoned. Moreover, no news would be released. She would also not receive any rewards in name or material. However, Yumarin told Su Yin that she did not want those rewards. She had once read a book that recorded a special bloodline race. The people of this race were very special. They had this kind of special substance in their bodies. When this secret was spread out, the people of this bloodline were all captured by experts from different places in order to improve their own abilities. However, although this substance could improve one's abilities, it also had an unclear side effect. If the person whose strength increased did not adjust themselves in time, it was very likely that it would cause some kind of reaction in their body, such as fainting or going berserk. In serious cases, it could even directly cause them to become disabled. Therefore, some people began to suspect that the people of this race had some kind of witchcraft. Then many people of this special race were killed. Until now, it could be said that the people of this race were all extinct. This was a tragic history. Yumarin's love for history aroused a strong interest in her. Under her various research and verification, she finally concluded that this period of history really did exist in this world. Therefore, she believed that since this race existed, it meant that there really was something that could rapidly increase one's mental state cultivation. Yumarin's initial intention to research this thing was good. She hoped that the people of the Dragon Fury team would not have to work so hard to improve their strength. However, she did not think that in fact, training was not only to train the strength of the Special Forces' state of mind, but also to train their willpower and spirit. Sometimes it was just strength but not strength. Since ancient times, there had been many strong traders. Such people did not deserve to be in the Dragon Brigade. However, if Yumarin's theory really became a reality, then there would be a lot of experts with weak willpower and spirit. These so-called experts would not be loyal to the country. After Yumarin's idea was eliminated, she never mentioned it again. However, Su Yin remembered this incident very clearly. Because that day, although he went to comfort Yumarin, Yumarin secretly brought out something delicious for him. It was a type of shortbread that was especially delicious. Now because of this incident, Su Yin thought of the words Yumarin told him that day. That story. Guogua. Could it be that she was left behind by that mysterious race? If that was the case, then he really raised a precious daughter of a monster. Chang was tired from driving. He said that he wanted to wash his face and wake up when they reached the next service station. Su Yin simply said that he would sleep for a while at the service station. He was also a little tired. It would be safer if he slept enough before continuing. Not only would it be safer for himself, but it would also be safer for others. The two of them took an afternoon nap in the resting area until 4 in the afternoon. When they woke up, they could feel that the sun was a little dim. Perhaps it was because today's weather was a little special. There was a refreshing feeling of autumn, but also the bleakness of early winter. Therefore, it seemed that dusk came especially early. After waking up, Chang continued on his way. When they arrived at Hudong City, the sky was completely dark. At this time, Zui Yeming, who was still in Suang, ran to the hotel to find Su Yin with the only 5 yuan in his pocket. When he was told by the front desk that Su Yin had already checked out, he almost broke down. But because his brother-in-law came, he didn't have to worry about not having enough money in his pocket. Now he just gave him 1,000 yuan and left. Taking out the 5 yuan in his pocket, Zui Yeming wanted to cry but had no tears. If he didn't call his sister for help, he was afraid that he would have to sleep on the streets tonight. Taking the risk of being scolded, Zui Yeming helplessly called Zhuo Meiyan's number. But he didn't even have a bank card now. Zhuo Meiyan had no choice. She said, "You're an adult. Think of something yourself." Then she hung up. F***ck. Zhuo Yeming wanted to vomit blood. If it weren't for you, would I have ended up like this? At this time, an unfamiliar girl suddenly ran to Zui Yeming's side. She smiled at him and pointed at the Ferrari FF beside him. "Handsome, can I take a picture with your car? It's my first time seeing an FF in Suang." Zui Yeming rolled his eyes and had an idea. "No problem. You can open the door and take a picture with all your strength." But what? The girl was excited and nervous. Chapter 376. Because Su Yin and Chang didn't say that they would come back today, and they couldn't get through to their phones, no one planned to wait for them to have dinner. When they came back for dinner, they found that there were only leftovers left. Ruan Qingxuang and Qinwan had already discussed that they would teach Su Yin a lesson and let him know that if he went out like this again, the consequences would be very serious. So, they ignored the two of them and left the table directly. Qinwan also secretly winked at Chou Yun, asking Chou Yun to take Guogua away as soon as possible. Guogua stuck out her tongue and said to him, "Dad, what you did this time was really too unkind. You made everyone worry for a whole day, so if you don't have any sincerity to apologize, then don't blame them for ignoring you." Ruan Qingxuang, who had just walked out, turned back. It seemed that she heard Guogua talking to Su Yin. She pretended to be angry and said, "Guogua, go upstairs and do your homework. Before Sister Wan and I come back, we must finish today's homework. Otherwise, we can't sleep." "Sister Qingxuang, don't worry. I will supervise her." Chou Yun smiled faintly and said, "I will make sure that she finishes her task. You can go without worry." "I also want to go and relax. Why don't you take me?" Guogua pouted and looked very unwilling. "Humph, if you don't take me, I will go by myself when I grow up." "I won't take you." Su Yin couldn't help but ask, "Where are you going?" Qinwan rolled her eyes and said, "Do we need to tell you? We are free to go wherever we want. It's none of your business. You didn't tell us where you were going. Why are you asking us now?" A series of questions made Su Yin completely speechless. "Forget it. They could go wherever they wanted. Anyway, it was useless for him to say anything now. These two just wanted to make him angry. Maybe he just went out for a walk. Alright, Wanner, let's go. Ruan Qingshuang seemed to be really angry. Not only did she not think that Qin Wanner had gone too far, but she also urged her to ignore Su Yun and let Su Yun think about what he had done wrong. Seeing the two of them leave, Cho Yun urged Guogua to go upstairs as well. Guogua was a little biased towards her father. Dad, don't worry. Sister Wanner heard from Uncle Qin that the people from the municipal party committee are having dinner outside, so she's going to stay there and follow Feng Guoqing to see if that bad guy will do anything bad. Oh. Su Yun suddenly realized that these two fellows wanted to investigate Feng Guoqing's weakness. But if they were to stay here and guard the place, it would be difficult for them to gain anything, right? It doesn't matter. Since they like to do this, then let's do it. Oh right, Cho Yun, where's old Butu? Su Yun was slightly stunned. He felt a little lonely. Thinking about it carefully, it was because old Butu was not around. Cho Yun originally did not want to bother with Su Yun, but since Su Yun asked, she said, "Then tell me, where did you go? Did you go to Suang?" Before Su Yun could speak, Chang exclaimed, "Io, Sister Cho Yun, you're really a genius. How did you know we went to Suang? That's too awesome." Chang did not see Su Yun glaring at him. He was still talking excitedly. Cho Yun frowned. "Why did you go to Suang again?" "I was just taking a look." Su Yun smiled. "It's fine. Didn't I come back that day? And I have a feeling that that person doesn't exist anymore. He's no threat to us." Cho Yun knew that Su Yun was talking about Green Ghost. "Why do you say that? If the threat is still there, I believe old Buta won't leave, because this old bastard promised me that he would stay here to take care of you." Su Yun shrugged helplessly. Old Buta was always so unpredictable. He knew it would be like this. "Who said that?" A hoarse voice shouted as he walked in from outside. Dan Jiahao eagerly went up to greet him. "Old Mr. Wu, you're back. Have you eaten yet?" He was sweating profusely and was even more affectionate than his own father. This was all thanks to that chant. That chant allowed Dan Jiahao to find the existence of qi in his body. Old Buta said angrily to Su Yun, "You ran away just like that, leaving me to guard this group of women. Do you know that a woman is equivalent to a few hundred ducks? Huh. With 2,000 ducks around me, do you think I can still eat?" When I was eating, I ran out and bought a bowl of braised meat noodles. It's just next door. Oh right, the taste is not bad. The braised meat is free. I bought 3 bowls. If the noodles were free, would you still be able to eat 3 bowls? Su Yun rolled his eyes. This guy, he was really speechless. Guogua pulled Cho Yun's hand. "Sister Cho Yun, let's go. Even if I'm a child, in the eyes of this old man, I'm definitely 500 ducks. Let's not bother him with 1,000 ducks." Old Buta laughed and made an understanding gesture to Guogua. Guogua stuck out her tongue and made a face. Then she pulled Cho Yun and ran away. "Where are the 2 girls?" Old Buta looked around. They were angered by Brother Yun and left. Chang continued. Su Yun glanced at Chang. "Why don't you hurry up and go back? What are you doing here? There's nothing to eat. Are you going to starve and drink the northwest wind with me? You're still counting on the kitchen to cook for us. It's my treat. Old Mr. Wu, Brother Yin, let's go out and drink?" Chang said with a cheeky smile. "I know a place to eat goose meat. It's really good. The taste is absolutely amazing. We can have a good night's sleep with a bottle of white wine." Su Yun was really tempted. He raised his head and looked at old Butu. Old Butu agreed immediately. "Okay. If I had known, I wouldn't have drunk the braised meat. I'm still burping now." It was the first time that Qin Wan did this kind of investigation without the identity of a police officer. Ruan Qingshuang was even more inexperienced. This kind of investigation and tracking made her particularly nervous. She always felt like a thief. "Sister Qingshuang, relax. There's nothing to be afraid of. We just need to stay away from some people who are watching us." In order to comfort Ruan Qingshuang, Qin Wan even quietly suppressed her own nervousness. "If you really can't do it, I'll send you back." Ruan Qingshuang hurriedly shook her head. "I can do it. Anyway, We just need to be careful. Qinhuan smiled and nodded. Yes, yes. Just be careful. It was easier said than done. Although Ruan Qingxuang pretended to be calm, she couldn't hide the uneasy expression on her face, especially when the two of them were waiting at the entrance of the restaurant. Finally, after an hour of waiting, the group of people from the municipal party committee who were eating came out of the restaurant one after another. The first person that Qinhuan saw was her father, Qin Zhongming. Feng Guoqing followed closely behind Qin Zhongming. After coming out, he chatted with Qin Zhongming for about 10 minutes. They were very close like old friends. They shook hands and patted shoulders. Needless to say, they were very warm. Qinhuan pouted. As for what Feng Guoqing would say to her father, she could guess without listening. It was nothing more than some conventional words. Something like, "We must cooperate well in the future. In fact, I appreciate you very much." Something like that. Finally, after Feng Guoqing wasted half an hour, everyone could go home. However, Feng Guoqing didn't leave immediately. After he asked everyone to leave, he began to make a phone call. About 10 minutes later, a white car without a license plate stopped at the entrance of the restaurant. Feng Guoqing didn't hesitate to get in the car, and then the car drove away. Qinhuan hurriedly started the car and followed. Ruan Qingxuang's heart was in her throat. On the way, the words that she said the most were, "It doesn't matter if we stay far away. Be careful not to be discovered." However, the white car unexpectedly stopped at the entrance of a bar, and this bar was unexpectedly the one that was very close to the old medicinal cuisine restaurant. This made Ruan Qingxuang feel a special sense of nostalgia. Qinhuan was very surprised. No matter what, Feng Guoqing was a famous person in Hudong City. Why would he come to a bar to drink? Soon, Feng Guoqing and a girl came out of the white car. Then the two of them quickly went into the bar. "Wonder what should we do?" Ruan Qingxuang was stunned for a while. She looked at Qinhuan not knowing what to do. Qinhuan took a deep breath and said, "Go in." Ruan Qingxuang's scalp was numb. "Do we really go in?" Seeing that Qinhuan was so sure, Ruan Qingxuang could only bite the bullet and follow Qinhuan out of the car. Originally, she was not very interested in places like bars. Now that she had to go in and investigate people, it was too difficult. Just as Ruan Qingxuang and Qinhuan bit the bullet and went into the bar, Xiao Fei's head popped out of the old medicinal cuisine restaurant. Xiao Fei was now managing the restaurant. Although he did not go to the restaurant with Brother Yun, he still remembered the appearance of Brother Yun and Sister Shuang very clearly. So Xiao Fei was very sure that Sister Shuang was in the gulf or that passed by the restaurant. So, Xiao Fei hurriedly ran out of the restaurant to take a look. As a result, he saw Sister Shuang and Officer Qin enter the bar. Xiao Fei looked around and did not see anyone else. After thinking for a while, Xiao Fei decided to tell Chang about it. He immediately took out his phone and dialed Chang's number. "Brother Chang, I want to tell you something." Chang was drinking with Su Yun and the old bumpkin. After receiving Xiao Fei's call, Chang did not hesitate to tell Su Yun about it. "Brother Yun, Sister Shuang and Officer Qin went to the bar next to our restaurant. Xiao Fei saw them just now, so he told me." Su Yun frowned. Why did they go there? He was very clear that they were not the kind of people who liked to go to places like bars. So there must be something going on. "Then let's eat first. After that, I will go and take a look." Su Yun was not in a hurry. If they really went there to relax, it did not matter. Chapter 377. As soon as Ruan Qingxuang and Qinhuan walked into the bar, a young waiter greeted them. When he saw that they were two beautiful women, he was even more enthusiastic than usual. He led them in directly. The private seats in this shop actually had a minimum price, but this rule did not exist for especially beautiful women. This was because no matter where these beautiful women sat, they would be surrounded by men with wallets and powerful wallets. Therefore, the economic benefits would be even higher. After they sat down, the waiter smiled and said, "What would you like to drink first? 2 glasses of warm water?" He said it politely. Generally, such beautiful women would not order too much when they came to a bar alone. There were many people who would treat them, so they did not need to order too much. "Okay." Ruan Qingshuang was not very good at drinking. When she heard that there would be warm water, she immediately nodded and said, "Okay. Excuse me, I want to ask, where are the man and woman who came in before us?" Qin Wan'er looked around and did not see Feng Guoqing and the girl. They did not come here to drink. If they could not find them, why would they waste their time here? If they wanted to drink water, there were many places at home. The waiter thought for a moment and then nodded and said, "Oh, you are talking about those two customers. Do you know them? They went to the VIP room inside. If you are together, I will take you there." The rooms in that room had a minimum price. Basically, only those who had a membership card could afford to drink there. Qin Wan'er did not expect Feng Guoqing to have such a young mentality. He was comparable to a young man. In a small city like Hudong, there were very few people who were over 50 years old who went to a bar. No, we are not going there. We just saw an acquaintance and asked casually." Qin Wan'er smiled and nodded. The waiter made a gesture to ask them to wait, and then went to get water for the two. At this time, many men who came out to hunt had their eyes on the 2 pieces of fat meat. Ruan Qingshuang and Qin Wan'er were rare beauties in the nightclub. Just by looking at their clothes, one could tell that they did not frequent the nightclub. Generally speaking, men liked fresh girls. Those girls who often hung out in nightclubs were basically trash in the eyes of these hunting experts. They would only make a move on those girls when they couldn't find any fresh meat. Therefore, once a fresh piece of fat meat came to the nightclub, it would definitely be targeted by these flies in an instant. Moreover, when the waiter went to pour the warm water, he made a gesture that only the regular customers knew. This gesture meant that the 2 girls only wanted warm water. Usually, girls who didn't take the initiative to order drinks came here in the hope that a man would pay the bill. This was an unspoken rule of this club. Although the scale of this nightclub wasn't big, it wasn't small either. A nightclub with a separate VIP room was more or less something. Some hunting masters understood the meaning of the waiter as they revealed brilliant smiles. At the sight of their brilliant smiles, the waiter knew that one of them would definitely give him a considerable tip if he could catch their hands. "Sister Frost, wait for me here. I'll go and take a look. I'll be back soon." Qin Wan'er said as she was about to get up. She wanted to go to the back and take a look at the room. After all, she wanted to get something on Feng Guoqing. Ruan Qingshuang looked quite nervous. "Do you want me to go with you? Can you go alone? I think we should go together. If we go together, we will definitely attract attention. I will pretend to go to the bathroom." Qin Wan'er said firmly, "Wait for me. I'll be back soon. If there is nothing, we will go." "Okay. Then be careful." Ruan Qingshuang nodded. When she heard that they could go, she relaxed a lot. "Well, hurry up." Qin Wan'er made an okay gesture. "Don't worry." Then she left directly and walked towards the room that she was not familiar with. Just after Qin Wan'er's figure disappeared into the darkness, when the hunting masters were eager to try, a man with a strange face suddenly came and sat in Qin Wan'er's seat. The man's eyes were deep and his nose was flat. His appearance was really unworthy of the public, and his body was really tall. It was estimated that the guard of the Huaxia High School basketball team would be taller than him by a head. Just when the hunting masters were about to go up and compete, they were all stopped by a strange face. Obviously, the short man was definitely a combination of a short and poor man and a tall and rich man, short and rich. He brought bodyguards with him when he went out. He was definitely not an ordinary rich person. Just when the man was about to sit down, Ruan Qingshuang directly alerted him. "There is someone here." "Hello, beautiful." But the man did not directly answer Ruan Qingshuang. "My name is Nakamura Shunji. Nice to meet you. We are all out to play. How about we be friends?" Dongying. Ruan Qingshuang was stunned when she heard the name. This guy's Chinese was really surprising. He did not sound like a Dongying person at all. Seeing Ruan Qingshuang's shock, Nakamura Shunji seemed to be used to this kind of reaction from girls. He explained, "Although I was born in Dongying, I came to Huaxia with my parents when I was very young. They are all doing business in Huaxia. You also know that labor in Huaxia is cheaper, and Huaxia people especially like our Dongying things, especially electronic products and cars. So, he If there is money to be made, it would be an idiot not to make it. Sorry, I am not interested in making friends with Dongying people. Ruan Qingshuang's face had already darkened. In her eyes, the Dongying people had always been the most despicable race in the world. This was because they had done many heinous things in history. Even now, these bastards still refused to admit that they had done those heinous things. They even tried to slander history, change history, and lie that they were innocent. Although Ruan Qingshuang did not dare to say that all the people in Dongying were bastards, at least 80% of the Dongying prime ministers and the group of people in the cabinet were such bastards. Relying on the fact that they could get support by barking in front of Marika, they repeatedly stirred up trouble and touched Huaxia's bottom line. Therefore, one could not blame Ruan Qingshuang for not liking the Dongying people. Even if there were good people in Dongying, those rats had already ruined their pot of porridge. However, this Nakamura Shunji did not mind Ruan Qingshuang's words at all. He continued to flaunt his background and strength. Beauty, my family is in the electronics business in Huaxia. How should I put it? Although it is not very strong in Dongying, and cannot be compared to Panasonic, Sony, Toshiba, Sharp, Canon and Fujitsu, it is still not bad. Last year, we entered the top 500 in the world. This is all thanks to your Huaxia's support. Are you done? Sorry, I don't want to discuss this with you. Ruan Qingshuang could not hold back her annoyance anymore. Nakamura Shunji still did not mind. I am usually busy in Xinjiang. I can't help it. My company is in Xinjiang. But this month, I wanted to have a good rest, so I decided to spend some time in the cities in the north of Huaxia to take a look. I heard that Hudong City is a 1,000-year-old ancient city with a rich cultural heritage. Moreover, the spirit of the city must be outstanding. I didn't expect that I really came to the right place. It is only my first night, and I am able to meet a beauty like you. I, Nakamura Shunji, am really honored. Ruan Qingshuang glared at him. Are you done? If you are, you can leave. Let me emphasize again, I don't like to be friends with Dongying people. Especially people like you. Even Ruan Qingshuang herself did not expect that her voice would have such a great penetrating power that it shocked everyone in the hall. This was a good scene to watch. Nakamura Shunji's face instantly fell. If they were in Dongying and a woman dared to not give him face, he would have slapped her. However, this was Huaxia. Moreover, he wanted to experience the joy of having sex with a woman, so he forced himself to swallow his anger. He did not expect that he would encounter such a big rebuke. Normally, when he was in other cities, it was always easy for him to get his hands on women. Many Huaxia girls, when they heard that he was the young master of one of the world's top 500 companies in Dongying, would stick to him and serve him comfortably like a god. This was the first time Nakamura Shunji had encountered a rebuke. However, he suddenly realized that he liked this kind of woman more, because it was exciting. When Ruan Qingshuang got angry, a group of men immediately stood up for Ruan Qingshuang. A beautiful woman would never lack supporters anywhere. Just like a beautiful sunshine boy who played basketball, there would be a group of crazy girls cheering for him everywhere. The Japanese still want to cause trouble here. The one who took the lead was the bald brother. Normally, Ruan Qingshuang would never think of this guy as a good person. However, now everyone put their country first. Ruan Qingshuang did not think that this bald brother was a bad person at all. However, good things did not last long. In just a short moment, the bald brother was knocked to the ground by a bottle of wine. The person who suddenly made a move walked behind Nakamura Shunji like a swallow. Then, people from every corner of the venue stood up and walked behind their master. At this time, the people in the venue realized that this little tycoon from Dongying had brought more than 10 bodyguards with him. At this moment, the people who wanted to stand up for Ruan Qingshuang did not dare to say anything. Sometimes, the Chinese men were not manly enough. They were cowards who bullied the weak and feared the strong when they saw so many people. They were not manly at all. They were all cowards. Nakamura Shunji sneered. Since ancient times, Huaxia has never been a truly united democracy. Why do you have to make a fuss here? If you were really so united, why would you be bullied by our Yamato people for so many years? How pathetic. You still want to fight with us for Turtle Island? Stop dreaming. You are the pathetic ones. Ruan Qingshuang was no longer as weak as she used to be. She suddenly slammed the table and stood up. No matter how good other people's countries are, they belong to others. They don't belong to you. You have invaded our country for generations, and you still haven't given up. I don't understand. An earthquake has killed so many people in your country. Don't you feel sad? Don't your leaders feel sorry for their own people? Do you still want your people to cause trouble? Do you think that there are too many people in your country? It doesn't matter if more people die. Don't you feel sad that you were born in such a country? If a country's president doesn't love his own people, how can the country be healthy and prosperous? Even if it is healthy and prosperous, is that fake? Is that temporary? Is that an act? That is also hypocritical. Everyone was shocked. Even the DJ turned off the sound. Chapter 378. Ruan Qingshuang's words were full of heroic spirit. She had the style of Lin Zex's Tiger Gate, and the momentum of Deng Shichang's Ziyuan ship crashing into the Yoshino ship. But even a girl like her could do this. The people who were frightened by the group of Japanese bodyguards still didn't resist. Don't talk to me about heroism. I just want to have a drink with you and be friends. Shunji Nakamura sneered. If this lady doesn't give me face, then I won't be polite with you. You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Is this the hobby of you Huaxia people? After saying that, Shunji Nakamura glanced at the bodyguard behind him who had knocked out the bald man with the wine bottle. He said sternly in Japanese, "Take her away." Presumably, the bodyguard was Japanese. Although Ruan Qingshuang did not understand Japanese, she understood the general meaning when she saw the man rushing up. She quickly dodged back. As she dodged, she shouted sternly, "What do you want to do? Let me tell you, Huaxia is a country with laws. It will not allow people like you to do as you please." However, with her imposing manner, it did not have any effect on these Japanese people. Instead, it made them even more arrogant. In fact, it was not Shunji Nakamura's group that encouraged them to be arrogant, but the surrounding people who were frightened. Even the group of gangsters in charge of the bar's security was stunned. For a moment, they did not know what to do. It was not that they could not beat them, but they felt that the other party was Japanese and had some concerns. Fortunately, Qin Wanner appeared in time. She had just walked around the back room and confirmed Feng Guoqing's room. She also knew that Feng Guoqing was not doing anything good inside. She was about to come over and discuss with Ruan Qingshuang what to do, but saw that Ruan Qingshuang was in danger. "Stop. I'm a police officer. Put your hands on your heads and squat down." Qin Wanner still had the courage. After all, she was a police officer. She was used to such situations. However, she had been dismissed and did not have the right to exercise her powers as a police officer. Junji Nakamura raised his head to take a look and immediately recognized the two girls in front of him. He had taken a fancy to both of them. However, he did not expect this person to pretend to be a police officer to scare him. After staying in Huaxia for so many years, Junji Nakamura had figured out some rules. The police in Huaxia usually did not meddle in other people's business. Even if they really encountered a situation, they would push it away as much as they could and waste time as much as they could. For example, the last time he encountered two groups of people fighting, someone called the police. However, when the police arrived, they did not immediately get out of the car to stop the fight. Instead, they waited for the two sides to finish fighting and tired before getting out of the car to arrest a few people who were beaten so badly that they could not run and brought them back for trial. The real troublemakers had already run away. Therefore, Shunji Nakamura immediately concluded that the woman was lying to him. "Miss, you said you're a police officer. Do you have any identification to prove it?" "You're the miss. Your whole family is Miss." Qin Weiner spat. "You want to see identification, right? Fine, come with me to the police station. I'll let you see as much as you want." At this moment, someone behind Junji Nakamura said in Japanese, "Young master, I think we should leave first. If we provoke the police, we will get into unnecessary trouble." Junji Nakamura scolded loudly in Japanese. "Idiot! You believe this? If she really is a police officer, She won't meddle in other people's business. She's just pretending to be a police officer to help her friend. You can't even see through this little trick. You're really an embarrassment to the great Japanese. Qin Weiner had already reached Yuan Qingshuang's side. After hearing these words that she did not understand, Qin Weiner was stunned. Japanese? Yes. Yuan Qingshuang was obviously still angry. This Japanese is really too despicable. Qin Weiner was furious. She said angrily to the surrounding people who were watching in a daze. Watching the Japanese bully our people on our land. You can actually tolerate it. I really wonder if you are the descendants of the Yellow Emperor. A few people could not hold it in anymore. They wanted to stand up and speak up for Yuan Qingshuang and Qin Weiner. Go. Junji Nakamura was a little afraid that the emotions of the surrounding people would be stirred up. He immediately ordered his bodyguards to start attacking those who showed signs of resistance. These Japanese people were really ruthless. They directly used things to greet people's heads. In an instant, the surging anger was extinguished. Seeing that Junji Nakamura's subordinates were so good at fighting, no one dared to stand up. After all, these muddy waters did not belong to them. No one wanted to get into trouble. Very quickly, Yuan Qingshuang and Qin Weiner were isolated in front of a group of Japanese people again. Compared to being bullied by a few Japanese people, Yuan Qingshuang was more disappointed by the attitude of these people. If everyone was united, why would they be afraid of these Japanese people? No matter if it was the right time, the right place, or the right people, they were at a disadvantage. Why did these people not dare to stand up? Although many people in Huaxia had this kind of bad habit, and liked to watch the fun, they definitely didn't want trouble to burn them. However, this did not mean that everyone was a coward. There were still many good young men in Huaxia who dared to stand up and shout at this kind of time. Then they would ruthlessly hit these bastards on the head with a stick. What is a group of men bullying two girls for? If you have the ability, then come at us. F***CK, Japanese people, if I don't say anything, you really think that there are no men in Huaxia, right? Chang's sudden appearance more or less surprised Yuan Qingshuang and Qin Weiner. They never thought that Chang would appear at this place at this time. Next to Chang stood Xiao Fei, and behind the two of them was Su Yun. At this moment, Su Yun was looking at them with a smile. It seemed like he was deliberately saying, "Who asked you to run out again? Are you unlucky now? Are you regretting it now?" Nakamura Shunji looked at Qing Yaojin, who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. His face darkened, and he muttered something to the people next to him in Japanese. Chang and Xiao Fei were stunned. This bastard was obviously using Japanese to set up a strategy, and they could not understand it. Who knew how this group of people was going to trick them? This was a really troublesome matter. The corners of Su Yun's mouth rose, and he smiled very brightly. He explained to Chang and Xiao Fei, he is telling his subordinates to attack from both sides in a while, and form a protective formation, so that we will be attacked from the front and the back. In this way, the three of us will not be their opponents at all. Don't be fooled by this Japanese guy's lackluster appearance, his brain is quite bad. Junji Nakamura was truly shocked to hear that there was actually someone who could understand him. He opened his mouth wide and stared intently at the person who could understand him. He knew that this person was the leader of the other party. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Su Yun suddenly ordered, let them know that angering Huaxia's men is not a joke. Chang Zi and Xiao Fei were not careless either. They picked up a chair and threw it over without saying a word. They also took the opportunity to rush in. With Su Yun around, they did not have to worry about being at a disadvantage. Brother Yun alone could beat them until they cried for their parents, so the two of them were just icing on the cake. But after the three of them suddenly raised their aura, the onlookers were also not convinced. Suddenly, their morale soared. Dozens of people, regardless of gender, all started to attack and hit with all their might. Those who had no energy also cheered and demonstrated. In a few seconds, Nakamura Shunji's men were reduced to live targets. Everyone vented their anger at the Japanese on this group of people. Even though Nakamura Shunji's group of bodyguards had some skills, they were not a match for Su Yun's group at all. In a short 10 minutes, Nakamura Shunji was scared. He saw more than a dozen of his subordinates beaten black and blue. They all looked like pigs without any strength to fight back. They could only protect him in the middle. No one dared to let him get hurt. After all, he was their young master. Some of the big families in Japan had a very strict hierarchy. For example, in Nakamura Shunji's family, the hierarchy of the master and servant was very important. If the young master was beaten, they would have to apologize when they returned. If it was a light punishment, they would have to be punished by the family. If it was a heavy punishment, they would have to commit seppuku. As for whether their sins were heavy or light, it depended on whether Nakamura Shunji was hurt or not. If Nakamura Shunji was not hurt, they would at most be punished by the family. If Nakamura Shunji was hurt, they would probably have to suffer severe punishment. If Nakamura Shunji was seriously injured, they would have to commit seppuku to apologize. These were the rules of the Nakamura family. They had never changed since ancient times. Even if the Nakamura family had always been gentle in front of outsiders, there was no way to hide the strict hierarchy in their bones. Stop. Su-yin knew that this was the time to restrain himself a little, because everyone had already started fighting. If this continued, he was afraid that someone would die. After all, the law could not punish the majority. If something happened in the end, these people would not have to bear the responsibility. So they really dared to kill. At this time, the boss of the bar and the gangsters guarding the place recognized them. Although they had never seen Su-yin before, Chang's reputation was like thunder to their ears. Seeing how respectful Chang was beside that person, even if they used their butts to think, they would know that it was Su-yin. Seeing that there were still people who wanted to take the opportunity to vent their anger, Chang glared at them. Didn't you hear Brother Yin tell you to stop? I didn't see you so King active before we came. I despise people like you the most. Although he was scolded, that person did not dare to say anything. Chang's reputation in this area was too great. The whole place was very quiet. No one dared to mess around in front of Su-yin. Everyone was quiet, as if they were listening to God's judgment on Nakamura Shunji. Do you know the consequences of doing evil in Huaxia? Su-yin raised his eyebrows. I don't want to lower myself to your level. Get out of here right now. In the future, in Hudong City, I will beat you up every time I see you. If you don't believe me, you can try my words today. Chapter 379. Seeing that Junji Nakamura wanted to escape with his eagle claws, the bar owner naturally extorted a large sum of money. Of course, this included everything that the bar had to compensate for. In any case, with Su-yin, Changzi, and the others here, the Japanese probably wouldn't dare to not give it to them. The moment Shunji Nakamura paid the bill and left, everyone cheered as if they had won a battle. The bar owner was also very generous. Because he had just cheated a lot of money from the Japanese, he directly said that he would waive the bill. Everyone's expenses for today were waived. Hearing that there was such a good thing, Chang and Xiaofei naturally wanted to stay for a drink. However, after all, they were here with Su-yin on official business, so they could only look at Su-yin. Su-yin shrugged his shoulders. It's cheap and not earning. Since it's free, wouldn't it be too stupid to leave? After saying that, Su-yin called Ruan Qingshuang and Qinwaner to drink with him. He smiled and asked, I say, why are you guys in such a good mood? Why did you come here to drink when you have nothing to do? Since that's the case, why don't I play a few games with you? Do you really think that we're here to drink because we have nothing to do? Ruan Qingshuang glared at Su-yin. We're here for official business. Go do whatever you're supposed to do. We're not here to drink. Official business? Su-yin was stunned for a long time. They were already in a bar. What other business could there be? Wasn't this place just a place for everyone to relax after a day of hard work? Qinwan's expression was very serious. Su-yin, Feng Guoqing is in this bar. He's in a private room inside. Su-yin's brows furrowed. He really did not expect Feng Guoqing to come to such a place. With who? A girl. She's quite young. Ruan Qingshuang said lightly. Their relationship is definitely not normal. Qinwaner said bluntly. Just now, I secretly went inside to investigate. If it was a legitimate relationship, I would not have gone to such a shameful place. At this moment, the bar owner personally led the waiter to Su-Yun's table with 2 bottles of Royal Salute and some drinks and beer. Brother Chong, hey, I didn't expect you guys to come tonight, the bar owner said to Chong with a face full of smiles. Then he signaled with his eyes and asked a question that he already knew the answer to. He then answered his own question. This is Brother Yin, right? Io, your presence brings light to my humble abode. Thank you, Brother Yin, for coming today. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what to do. This wine is my filial piety to all of you. Chong glared at him. Little Xiao, even if you're running a bar, you have to have some backbone. What are you going to do if you encounter something like this in the future? Brother Chong, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. The owner, Little Xiao, was quite good at bootlicking. His expression was especially sincere, and he did not have the feeling of flattery at all. Do you still need to say it? Of course you're going to do it. Since the Japanese dared to bully our people on our land, who cares what they are? Let's get rid of them. Chong said passionately. If I find out that you're acting soft in front of the Japanese in the future, I'll be the first to not let you off. Yes, yes, yes. Little Xiao nodded repeatedly. Su-Yun picked up the wine and looked at it, then put it down. Then he waved at Little Xiao. Little brother boss, come, I have something to ask you. Hearing Su-Yun call him that, the bar owner, Little Xiao, was flattered. Brother Yin, don't call me that. I can't afford it. Just call me Little Xiao. If you have anything to say, just tell me. Just treat me as your brother. Don't treat me as an outsider. You really know how to flatter yourself. Chong laughed. Do you think you can flatter Brother Yin just because you want to? Brother? You're shameless, aren't you? Haha. Alright, I'm just teasing you. Don't be anxious. After saying that, Chong said to Su-Yun, Brother Yin, Little Xiao is not bad. He's actually quite loyal. Don't stand on ceremony. If you have anything to say, just let him do it. Su-Yun nodded. Alright, I won't stand on ceremony. Little Xiao, go and find me a waiter's uniform. There's an acquaintance in your room. I'll go and play a joke on him. At first, the boss, Little Xiao, was a little stunned. But when he heard that Su-Yun was joking with his friend, he laughed heartily. Alright, alright, alright. Brother Yin, follow me. I'll bring you to change your clothes. Qin Wan'er grabbed Su-Yun. Where are you going? I'm going to recognize the woman. Su-Yun played it down. I guess you didn't see what the woman looked like, right? If you're on the road in the future, can you recognize her? If you can't recognize her, then wouldn't you have come here in vain tonight? But what if I recognize the woman? Wan Qingshuang still didn't understand Su-Yun's meaning. But at this time Qin Wan'er had already understood. She nodded hard and completely understood Su-Yun's meaning. Then should I go in and recognize her? Su-Yun nodded and smiled. If you want to go, then come with me and Little Xiao to find clothes to change into. It's not appropriate to wear this, right? Hey, Wan'er, are you crazy? What if Feng Guoqing recognizes us? Wan Qingshuang was very nervous. She didn't want to mess this up. Don't worry. The lights outside are so dim. They can't see clearly. Moreover, Feng Guoqing and the woman are not doing anything good inside. They definitely won't make the lights so bright. They definitely won't recognize us. Su-Yun signaled Wan Qingshuang to be at ease. Then he said to Chong, accompany Sister Shuang. This royal salute is really good. Let Sister Shuang try it. Qiangzi grinned and said, Alright. Brother Yin, don't worry. Sister Shuang will definitely drink well with me. Wan Qingshuang was angry and amused. At this time, these two people were still joking with her. She really didn't know what to do with them. It was definitely an honor for Little Xiao to be able to interact with Su-Yun. He quickly asked someone to find a set of male and female waitress clothes. However, they didn't have a special changing room. Everyone had to find an empty room to change into. At this time, there weren't any empty rooms. The only place to change was his office. Brother Yin, if you don't mind, you can only change in my room. Little Xiao said embarrassedly. I will go and turn off the surveillance. You don't have to worry. Su-Yun of course didn't mind. It's just a change of clothes. Anywhere is fine. Soon the two followed Little Xiao to his office. Su Yin asked Qin Wan'er to go in and change into the waitress clothes. However, Qin Wan'er ran out not long after she went in. Then, she pulled Su Yin into the room and pointed at a surveillance camera in the corner of the room. "Didn't they say to turn it off?" Su Yin said. "I still feel uncomfortable. You move a chair and cover it with your hand. It's better to be safe than sorry." Qin Wan'er was very careful. However, she didn't expect Su Yin to be a living man. When she was changing clothes, he saw everything. Su Yin originally wanted to remind her, but after thinking about it, it didn't matter. During the 5 days when he was in a coma, Qin Wan'er had looked at him countless times. She might have even helped him change his underwear after losing the scissors and hammering competition. Thinking of this, Su Yin felt relieved. The reason why Qin Wan'er didn't worry about Su Yin was very simple. Based on her understanding of Su Yin wouldn't peek at her and take advantage of her. However, this time, she really didn't expect that when she was changing into the waitress clothes, Su Yin was looking at her with great interest. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. After Qin Wan'er changed her clothes, Su Yin also changed into the waitress clothes. Qin Wan'er didn't avoid it. For her, it was indeed not a big deal. She had seen Su Yin's naked body before. Of course, she didn't care that he was changing clothes now. After the two changed their clothes and came out, the boss Little Xiao took a bottle of Hennessy VSOP and gave it to Su Yin. "Brother Yin, you must need a reason to go in. Haha, since he is your friend, I will also give you a bottle of wine as a token of my respect. It is such a waste to give such a good wine to him. How about this, you give me a dozen beers?" Su Yin smiled and said. Then he thought of something and pulled Little Xiao. "That, you don't have to give him any good beer. Just a high-quality imitation of Heineken, or something like that will do." Little Xiao was stunned for a long time. He stammered, "Brother Yin, this isn't good, right? After all, he's your friend. We only sell our wine to Dongying people. Not to mention acquaintances, we can't cheat the locals. Just do what I ask you to do. They definitely won't drink it anyway." Su Yin waved his hand. "Do as I say. Go and get it." After Little Xiao asked someone to bring the beer, Su Yin directly gestured for Qin Wan'er to take it. Qin Wan'er stared at him. "Why should I take it?" Su Yin pointed at his clothes. "Do you see? This is the clothes of the foreman. Look at yourself. You're wearing beer girl clothes. I'm the head waiter, and I'm bringing beer girl to deliver wine to a VIP customer. Tell me, do you think it's more suitable for me to hold the wine, or for you to hold it?" Before Qin Wan'er could speak, Little Xiao pointed at Qin Wan'er and said, "Beer girl is suitable." Qin Wan'er was speechless. She rolled her eyes. Okay. I will take it. I will take it. I will take it. TSK, it is just a dozen beers. What's the big deal? This is for your safety." Su Yin smiled. "There's no other way. I'm sure you don't want Feng Guoqing to be suspicious. Just cooperate. Don't worry. You'll definitely be rewarded. I guarantee you'll definitely reap some benefits." Qin Wan'er picked up the beer and urged, Go. Hurry up. I don't want to waste time here." Su Yin walked in front. "Let's go and see what kind of dirty things Feng Guoqing can do in this place. Maybe he has already undressed the girl in the room. If you see something inappropriate, you have to stay calm." Chapter 380. After arriving at the door of Feng Guoqing's room, Qin Wan'er began to realize her nervousness. To be honest, she began to retreat. What if Feng Guoqing recognized her? But Su Yin did not give her a chance to regret. He pushed the door open and walked in without hesitation. Qin Wan'er had no choice but to follow him. Since things had come to this, that was the only way. When the two suddenly entered, the man and woman in the room suddenly panicked. Feng Guoqing's reaction was especially obvious. The excitement he was enjoying before was suddenly interrupted, making him impotent. But the girl seemed to be much calmer, and did not feel any shame at all. Once a girl didn't even know the word shame, her life would be over. But there were many girls in the world who did not know the word shame, especially after Huaxia had WeChat, Momo, and other dating apps. Everyone knew this, so there was no need to explain. Su Yin walked to the center of the dark room. At this distance, he could almost see the faces of Feng Guiqing and the girl beside him, because they were on the sofa, and the sofa was against the wall, and there were some weak spotlights around the ceiling. But Su Yin could guarantee that Feng Guiqing could not see him clearly. The principle of optics was very simple. If you thought about it carefully, you would know that in such a dark room, most of the lights were ambient lights. As long as there were no bright lights, the center of the room would be the darkest place. Su Yun's choice was very smart. What are you doing? Can't you see that there are people in the room? Feng Guiqing was furious. Get out! What kind of people are you? Don't you know basic manners? Go, go, go. I'm sorry, sir. I knocked on the door outside, but you didn't seem to hear it. Su Yin made up a story. That's why we took the liberty to come in. We had no choice but to do so. Boss got us to deliver the wine. If we didn't come, it would mean that we didn't fulfill our duties and would be scolded by boss. At this time, Feng Guiqing had almost pulled up his pants. When he heard that the boss was delivering the wine, he was a little confused. Logically, the boss here should not know who he was. They had no relationship at all. Why would he deliver wine to him? Why did you give me wine? Feng Guiqing was not a fool. A businessman would not be kind for no reason. Just as Feng Guiqing was confused, the girl adjusted her collar and rolled her eyes. I know Boss Xiao. I'm a VIP member here. He should be giving it to me, right? Su Yin adapted to the situation. Yes, 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 it's for you. Feng Guiqing smiled at the girl and said, Big baby, your face is big enough. He, it's bigger than your chest. After saying those shameless flirting words, Feng Guiqing's face darkened. He said to Su Yin sternly, All right, put the wine on the table and leave. When Su Yin heard the girl say that she knew little Xiao, he knew that there was no need for him to continue wasting time here. Since that was the case, he might as well go out and ask little Xiao directly. This little Xiao was really something. If he had said that he knew the girl earlier, he would not have had to bring Qin Wan-er in and take this risk. Under Su Yun's signal, Qin Wan-er, who was just a bystander, gathered her courage and walked out from behind Su Yun. Then, she put a dozen beers on the table. She did not even dare to raise her head. She hurriedly retreated to the corner behind the wall. When he saw that the wine was actually beer, Feng Guiqing's face darkened. He pointed at the royal salute set that he had ordered, and then pointed at the dozen bottles of fake Heineken beer. He sneered and said to the girl beside him unhappily, You know this? Humph, such a stingy boss. You can't be a big boss. If you want to play in the future, Godfather will take you to a better place. Thank you, Godfather. The girl's voice was very sweet. Her voice made Feng Guiqing's whole body tingle, but it also made Qin Wan-er have goosebumps. Su Yin originally wanted to say something, but he saw that Qin Wan-er had unknowingly stood under a soft light from the ceiling. Her face was clearly illuminated. Unless Feng Guiqing was blind, he would definitely recognize her. In a hurry, Su Yin directly turned around and signaled Qin Wan-er to leave quickly. It was not known if it was because the two's sudden actions had aroused Feng Guiqing's suspicion, but Feng Guiqing suddenly said, Wait a minute. Qin Wan-er only felt that her whole body was tingling. This feeling really made her very uncomfortable and very nervous. Although she did not understand what she was nervous about, what was there to be afraid of? The one who was doing something dishonorable was Feng Guiqing, not her. Sir, is there anything else you need? Su Yin calmly turned around. He had been trying his best to keep his figure in the darkness, so it was natural for him to do so. Feng Guiqing pointed at Qin Wan-er. Let her come over. Open these bottles of beer for me. Su Yin still said calmly, Sir, I will help you. She has other things to do. Let her do something else. Qin Wan-er understood Su Yun's meaning. She was ready to ignore Feng Guiqing and go out immediately. I don't need you. I want her to open the bottles for me. If there is anything else, you can do it for her. Let her come over. Feng Guiqing suddenly stood up. Seeing that she did not want to pay attention to him and was about to go out, he could not hold it anymore and directly shouted, Qin Wan-er, do you think I did not recognize you? This time, Qin Wan-er was directly stunned at the door. Su Yin secretly sighed. Sure enough, they were recognized. Perhaps because Qin Wan-er stood under the light for a while, Feng Guoqing could basically be sure. Although they were recognized, Su Yin still quickly thought of a solution. He looked at Feng Guoqing with a surprised face. Sir, do you know each other? The girl next to Feng Guoqing was also somewhat jealous. She said to him, Who is that person? Of course I know her. Feng Guoqing sneered. Qinwan, or what do you mean? Do you want to secretly investigate me? Let me tell you, if there is no evidence, you better not talk nonsense. Otherwise, I can sue you for slander. Before Qinwan could get angry, Su Yin interrupted. I'm sorry, sir. What is going on? She is a beer girl who has only worked here for 3 days. If there is any misunderstanding, I hope we can talk about it openly. This is good for everyone. Feng Guoqing was stunned. She works here. Yes, she is a beer girl here. Su Yin said seriously. She said that she lost her job, but she just bought a car. She needs to pay off the car loan, so she came to work in our bar. Qinwan was completely convinced by Su Yin's ability to adapt to the situation and make up a lie. Even if she lost her job in the police station, she would not come to work in a bar, right? It was not that she looked down on the work of a bar girl, but Qinwan absolutely could not stand dealing with perverted customers every day. This kind of work was suitable for girls who were open and infatuated. They would be happier doing it. For example, the goddaughter next to Feng Guoqing. Impossible, right? Even if you lost your job, you don't have to come to work in a bar. You are Qin Zhongming's daughter. Feng Guoqing certainly did not believe it. Qin Zhongming is not so open-minded. He would not let his daughter work in this kind of place. Just as Feng Guoqing was secretly pleased with himself for exposing this lie, Su Yin couldn't take it anymore. F***CK. Why are you so smart? Just act like it is enough. Do you really want me to fall out with you? Su Yin suddenly kicked the coffee table. He picked up a bottle of beer and knocked it down, revealing the sharp glass edges. Before Feng Guoqing could figure out what was going on, Su Yin had already placed the wine bottle full of sharp edges on Feng Guoqing's chin. In a flash, Feng Guoqing was stupefied. The girl next to him was stunned. Qinwan was completely shocked and could not move. No one would have thought that Su Yin would suddenly erupt in a small universe and actually do such an irrational thing. It wasn't that Su Yin couldn't control his emotions, but that he suddenly realized a problem. Doing this with Feng Guoqing wasn't his forte. Feng Guoqing was someone who was able to make a name for himself in the most difficult place in society, the officialdom. He must be very scheming. So, instead of playing tricks with Feng Guoqing, it was better to make it clear to him. I am here to deal with you. What can you do? Feng Guoqing was really completely stunned. He had been in society for so many years. He had experienced everything, but he had never experienced a situation where a knife was placed on his neck. This made him really unable to react for a while. Do you know what I am here for today? Since he was going to be a rogue, Su Yin was not short of acting. If you don't tell me what happened to Qinwan, today, don't blame me for tearing down your big government yard tomorrow. Although Feng Guoqing was scared, he was not a child after all. He still understood the basic principles. Brother, you have to be responsible for what you said. What do you think the government is? You can do whatever you want. That is illegal. That is going against the party. What kind of end will you have? Think about it yourself. Su Yin raised the glass bottle in his hand. The cold glass shocked Feng Guoqing again, and made him break out in a cold sweat. Su Yin sneered and said, Are you trying to scare me? Okay, then I will deal with you. You are not a big shot, right? If I really bury you alive today, how many people will know? You think you can threaten me like this? Feng Guoqing also showed that he would not shed tears until he saw the coffin. Brother, that's enough. If you have any conditions, you can say it. We can talk about it. This is good for everyone. Su Yin really admired Feng Guoqing's courage. At this time, he was still fearless in the face of danger. Ordinary people really could not do that. Well, since Secretary Feng said so, then I will get straight to the point. It was you who fired Police Officer Qin. Our brothers in the underworld are very dissatisfied with this. So I hope Secretary Feng can give us an explanation. Feng Guoqing's face was like an iron plate. He really did not expect that Qin Wan dared to find a gangster to make trouble for him. But now he could only appease him first. After all, he had a weapon in his hand. Okay, I promise you. I will deal with this matter as soon as possible. Su Yin knew that he was perfunctory, but he had done what he should do. Seeing that Feng Guoqing agreed, he threw the bottle away. Secretary Feng, I believe you. Have fun tonight and drink well. Chapter 381. As soon as he walked out of the room, Su Yin immediately called the 3 tigers of Nancheng and asked them to bring some brothers to the door of the bar. They would greet Secretary Feng together and let him know what was going on. Su Yin had no good way to deal with Feng Guoqing. Feng Guoqing was like a stone in the latrine, smelly and hard. If he wanted to deal with him, he would have to be smelly and harder than him. Because Lu Feng drank a little too much with several construction supervisors, he called Chang and asked where Chang was and if he could pick him up on the way. Chang didn't tell him that he was already there. He just told him to wait and that he would pick him up right away. Usually, the relationship between Chang and Lu Feng was very good. When Su Yin and Qin Wan changed their clothes and came out for a drink, Wan Qingshuang told them that Chang had something to do. Only Xiaofei was there to accompany them. Su Yin asked Xiaofei to come and have a drink with him. He didn't need to be so reserved. After Su Yin and Qin Wan left the room, Feng Guoqing's face darkened. You want to deal with me? You little punks. I'd like to see how you can fight with me. Feng Guoqing said to himself and took out his mobile phone and began to look through the numbers. To deal with these punks, Feng Guoqing was ready to take advantage of them. He looked at the people on the phone. Jin Biao, the boss of the East, Ma Pinghai, the boss of the North, Wu Lei, and Fan Mingjia and Wang Xuanxi, who were fighting for the position of the boss of the South but were arrested. After a long time, he saw a person who might come out and help him teach the punks. Qin Wan found a lesson. After making up his mind, Feng Guoqing dialed the phone. His goddaughter beside him wanted to act like a spoiled child, but he pushed her away. He was busy with business and didn't have time to pay attention to her. Soon, a sweet and clear voice came from the phone. Hello, Secretary Feng? Why did you suddenly think of calling a little girl like me? Feng Guoqing chuckled. You're a busy person. If there's nothing important, how would I dare to disturb you, Miss Su? Secretary Feng, if there's anything you need, just say it. If I, Su Yanqing, can help, then I'll definitely help. Her clear and melodious voice made Feng Guoqing feel very comfortable. Little Su, I really do have something that I need your help with. I was drinking at a bar in Wenhui District's Park Plaza when I met a hooligan looking for trouble. I'm a little worried, so I wanted to ask you for help. Feng Guoqing smiled. It's just a small matter, right? I'm thinking that if I go out later, there will definitely be a few hooligans who will show me who's boss. I have no choice but to trouble you. Su Yanqing, the big sister of the Xiongning society, had cleverly chosen to hide when the underground world of Hudong City was in chaos because she didn't know who had taken control of Hudong City's forces. When she came back from a trip in Southeast Asia, Hudong City had undergone earth-shaking changes. Almost everyone had surrendered to the former 3 tigers of Nancheng. It must be known that the 3 tigers of Nancheng were not as famous as her before. So Su Yanqing knew that this matter must have a bigger background. She cleverly asked around and found out that Hudong Hotel had changed owners, and the boss there was Ruan Qingshuang. Although Ruan Qingshuang had never dealt with matters of the underworld, Su Yanqing also understood that she had to be respectful and avoid that person to have a good life. Su Yanqing's Xiongning society did not end because of her meticulous thinking. She kept a low profile only to ensure that the Xiongning society would not lose its autonomy in her hands. She did not want to be like the 3 tigers of Nancheng and become the eagle claws of others. If she wanted her club to survive for a long time, it was very important to build a good relationship with the local government. Therefore, Su Yanqing had never stopped contacting Secretary Feng. Every month, she would still send him gifts, and she would still send him gifts when she needed to. This time, Feng Guoqing unexpectedly asked her for help. Su Yanqing was somewhat surprised, but since Feng Guoqing had said so, she could not refuse. Once she refused, She was afraid that she could no longer count on this local official to turn a blind eye to her in the future. Although Su Yanqing had not done anything outrageous, the nature of the society was not so clean after all. Secretary Feng, since you said so, of course I will go. Even if I have to go through water and tread on fire, I will not refuse. Su Yanqing promised happily, but she was somewhat worried. If it was just a small gangster, she was not afraid, but if she met the 3 tigers of Nanching, she was really a little worried. Feng Guoqing laughed heartily and said, "Then I will wait for you. Little Su, you'd better hurry up. I really can't sit still." Su Yanqing nodded and said that she would be there soon. After hanging up the phone, Su Yanqing called a dozen brothers to follow her and quickly rushed to the bar. At this time, it was naturally the best to give face to Feng Guoqing. She hoped that this was an opportunity, not a disaster. Because Su Yanqing was also in the Wenhui district, she came very quickly. When she came to the bar with a dozen people, the boss, Xiao Xiao, was also very enthusiastic. After all, the Xiongning society was not a small society that only existed for a day or two. They were also deeply rooted in Hudong. "Sister Yanqing, why are you here?" Xiao Xiao smiled and went to greet her. There was nothing to say about Su Yanqing's figure and appearance. If she were in Hudong, she would definitely be in the top 10 of the beauty list. She had a willowy waist, a perky butt, and an S-shaped curve in front of her chest that could make any man drool. However, in Hudong City, there were not many who dared to stare at Su Yanqing's chest. Even the current 3 tigers of South City would not be so arrogant. Although in a sense, the Xiongning society was not as powerful as the knife and axe society at that time. Their status and background were different. At that time, Su Yanqing's father was also one of the most important people in Hudong City. There were not many young people in Hudong City who did not admire him. Therefore, even if the 3 tigers of South City were doing better than Su Yanqing, because of the face of the Su family's father and the fact that Su Yanqing was a beauty, they would still give a certain amount of respect. Su Yanqing came to the bar with a dozen people. It was really eye-catching. Su Yin could not help but look at her. This girl was hot enough. "What are you looking at?" Qin Wan'er asked with jealousy. "Su Yin, I found that you are good. Eating from the bowl, and thinking about the pot? Sister Qing Shuang and I are not enough in front of you." Su Yin grinned. "Qin Wan, I found that you have met your match. That beauty's chest is definitely better than yours. Go away. Why don't you go and die?" Qin Wan'er glared and scolded. Ruan Qingxuang knew that the two were joking, so she ignored them. She just continued to smile and drink the wine in her glass. At first she said that she could not drink, so the boss Xiao Xiao specially found someone to make this kind of wine that tasted like orange juice. It did not taste like alcohol at all. It was quite delicious. "Boss Xiao, you have such important guests in your bar today. Don't you know?" After Su Yanqing came in, she went straight to the point. "Take me to the private room at the back." Xiao Xiao was confused. Who was in the private room at the back? Just now, Su Yan wanted to meet the people inside. Now, Su Yanqing also wanted to meet the people inside. Obviously, the people she met were the same people as Su Yun. Xiao Xiao did not know how Su Yun knew the people inside. Originally, he wanted to tell Su Yanqing that the people sitting there were Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang. Should she go and greet them? However, Su Yanqing did not give him a chance to speak. She had already strode in. Xiao Xiao immediately followed her. "Didn't you say that there are no more private rooms inside?" Ruan Qingxuang was stunned. Because she was not used to being in such a noisy place, she asked Xiao Xiao if there was a quiet place. However, Xiao Xiao said that there were no more rooms. Moreover, his expression was very apologetic. He also said that if she did not like noise, she could go to his office. Maybe he is looking for someone. Qin Wan'er definitely did not expect Feng Guoqing to think so much. Su Yin seemed to have noticed something. If it was just that girl alone, he would not have thought so much. However, that girl had 15 or 16 people behind her. Could it be that Feng Guoqing had asked them to come? Thinking of this, Su Yin could more or less understand. Because with Feng Guoqing's thoughts, he was probably able to guess that Su Yin would definitely give him a show of strength. Looking at him like this, he was afraid that he would be beaten when he went out later. so he specifically asked a few people to boost his courage. If that was the case, it would be even better. Anyway, Suyin did have the intention of giving him a show of strength. He asked the 3 tigers of Nanqing to summon their brothers to show Feng Guoqing that he could not do whatever he wanted just because he was the secretary of Hudong City. If Feng Guoqing always thought that he was the leader of Hudong City, then Suyin wanted to use practical actions to tell him, "You can mess with anyone but the people around me, especially women, because I am the local tyrant here." After seeing Su Yanqing, Feng Guoqing seemed to be quite familiar with her. If it was in the past, he would not have liked to see the leader of a small club. Moreover, it was a woman that he could not take any practical advantage of. But it was different now. Feng Guoqing could not let others know that he had a little woman outside. If word got out, he would be in trouble. So today he could only rely on Su Yanqing, who was also in the underworld. Only then could he rest assured. This was also a last resort, a last resort. "Little Su, I'm really sorry to trouble you so late." Feng Guoqing smiled and said, "What do you want to drink? It's my treat." After seeing Feng Guoqing and the girl beside him, Su Yanqing understood why he asked her to help. Su Yanqing smiled slightly and said, "Secretary Feng, don't be so polite. This is just a small matter. I will definitely forget about it when I go out, so Secretary Feng, please don't take it to heart." "That's good, that's good." Feng Guoqing smiled knowingly. "But it seems that there is no one outside." Su Yanqing smiled and said, "Secretary Feng, if you are just worried, then you may be overthinking. At least it should be no problem to go out now." Feng Guoqing was stunned. No one stopped him. How could it be? Did the other party not intend to give him a show of strength? No, absolutely impossible. Chapter 382. Feng Guoqing called for help. After he walked out of the room, he saw Su Yin and Qin Wan are sitting outside, drinking and chatting. Feng Guoqing snorted in his heart. Fortunately, he had thought about it and knew that this punk was not going to let him go. "It's that hooligan," Feng Guoqing said as he pointed at Su Yin. Su Yin's intuition was trained on the battlefield, so he reflexively glanced in Feng Guoqing's direction. When Su Yin saw the hot chick standing beside Feng Guoqing, as well as a dozen thugs, he was even more convinced that he didn't guess wrong. Su Yanqing followed Feng Guoqing's finger and saw 2 men and 2 women. She despised Feng Guoqing. He was a man, but he was scared by 2 punks and didn't dare to come out of the room. How could he become the secretary with such courage? He was a disgrace to the people of Hudong City. "Secretary Feng, don't worry. No one dares to touch you as long as I, Su Yanqing, am here. You can take your people away." Su Yanqing forced a smile. She was disgusted by Feng Guoqing's dirty business, but she had to endure it. Feng Guoqing looked at Su Yanqing walking toward Su Yin and Qin Wan. He sneered and whispered to himself, Qin Zhongming, you are a troublemaker. I didn't expect your daughter to be the same. She even wanted to threaten me with punks. Humph, let's wait and see." "Godfather, what should we do now?" The girl next to Feng Guoqing shook her butt and rubbed her big breasts on Feng Guoqing's arm. "It's their fault for disturbing us. Do you still want it?" Feng Guoqing's heart was numb because of this girl. He waved his hand and said, "Let's go. Godfather will take you to a room." However, sometimes, many things did not go smoothly. As soon as Feng Guoqing walked out of the bar, he was so scared that his legs went limp. This was even more limp than when he vented his beast desire on the little demoness beside him. There were over 100 people standing at the entrance of the bar. Almost everyone had a cigarette in their hand. Some were standing, some were squatting, and some were sitting on the ground. They were all chatting and laughing, but when they saw Feng Guoqing come out, they all threw their cigarette butts on the ground, stepped on them, and stood up, all of them glaring angrily. Chang and the 3 tigers of Nanqing had been in contact with Su Yin. After they arrived at the bar, Su Yin told them through WeChat that Feng Guoqing had found helpers. He told them to guard outside and not to worry about him. As long as Feng Guoqing dared to go out, he would be scared to death. With so many people glaring at him, Feng Guoqing really couldn't bear the pressure. He had held a meeting in front of hundreds of people, but the people below were all sincere supporters. Even if there were some who were not convinced, they would not show it on their faces. However, it was different now. This group of people looked as if they were going to eat him alive. Just thinking about it made Feng Guoqing tremble in fear. Oh, isn't this Secretary Feng? You also have time to come here to play? Chang and the 3 tigers of Nanqing had been ordered by Su Yin to reveal all their identities. They just wanted to let Feng Guoqing know that Qin Weiner not only had contacts with the people in the underground world, but also had close contacts with them. The people she had contacts with were not ordinary punks. Any one of them could destroy Feng Guoqing's house without blinking an eye. Dan Hongning walked forward with a smile, and carefully looked at the woman beside Feng Guoqing. Oh, Secretary Feng, you are so lucky. You can even get such a beautiful girl. Can you lend her to us to play with? Feng Guoqing's face had already turned the color of a purple eggplant. Facing this kind of pure hooligan, he really didn't know what to do. His goddaughter was also trembling as she snuggled behind him, afraid that she would be dragged over and punished on the spot by those guys. Brothers, do you think Brother Ning's idea is good? Kong Zhong jeered. With his greeting, hundreds of people roared with laughter, and all of them were eager to have a try. Several people shouted, Brother Ning goes first, take the lead. Feng Guoqing stepped back and said nervously, Brothers, let's talk nicely. Don't mess around, okay? This is something that we can't talk about openly. Why do we have to make such a big fuss? Don't hurt the harmony because of misunderstandings, okay? Lu Feng chuckled and said, Oh, look at how scared Secretary Feng is. We are not the second generation of this family, and we don't have a civilian cadre mother who is treated as a deputy. No one can emphasize that we are taking turns to have some kind of relationship. Just rest, hara. Brother Feng, do you think we are all silver gun bullies? Chang also said loudly, which caused a burst of laughter. Feng Guoqing saw that the situation was not good. He hurriedly pulled his goddaughter and ran back to the bar like crazy. At this time, he could only count on Su Yanqing to support him. But Su Yanqing only brought a dozen people, so obviously, it was meaningless. But now Feng Guoqing had no time to think about it. He had to avoid these guys who were like wolves and tigers first. He wasn't afraid that the little darling beside him would be hurt by this group of people, but he was mainly worried about his own safety. If he, a dignified secretary, was beaten up by hooligans, even if he wanted to get back all this lost face, it would already be a loss of face. Being beaten and threatened was not a big deal, but he could not lose face. He had been the secretary of Hudong City for 3 years. If he lost face, he could never get it back. There was a saying, it doesn't matter if the inside is rotten, but the face must be bright and beautiful. Only in this way can the public be convinced. In fact, thinking about it carefully, many things were like this, especially for Huaxia people, who paid more attention to face. There was a local saying in Hudong, donkey's dung is bright on the outside. There were many people like this in the world, and this was definitely a famous saying. Su Yanqing brought a dozen men to Su Yun's table. Xiao Fei recognized her at a glance and immediately blocked in front of Su Yanqing. You. What are you doing? Xiao Fei was young, and when it came to mingling, he had only followed Chang outside once. It could be said that he had no social experience. Facing Su Yanqing, he was more or less nervous. Su Yanqing smiled slightly. She did not need to say anything, and the men behind her naturally held Xiao Fei down. Xiao Fei immediately began to struggle. Do you know who he is? You better not mess around. But Su Yanqing was not moved at all. Seeing this scene, Boss Xiao of the bar was stunned. What was going on? Tonight, his small shop was really lively. He was afraid that these people would make a scene and smash his shop again. But thinking about it, it did not matter. The chairs were all made of wood, and they could be used after being lifted up. At most, a few more bottles of wine would be broken. Fortunately, he had extorted a lot of money from the Japanese just now, so it was not a loss to smash all the things in the shop. Ruan Qingshuang was indeed a little embarrassed when she saw this. Although with her current status, she did not need to be afraid of anyone in Hudong. She really could not be a big sister in her bones. She did not have that confidence. Qin Wan'er almost did not have a good impression of this woman. When the woman came closer, she also recognized her. With Su Yanqing's status, she had some status in Hudong. For example, her status in Hudong was similar to 13th status in Causeway Bay. You are Su Yanqing, right? Qin Wan'er directly said. Looking at you, are you here to cause trouble for us? Su Yanqing spoke quite politely. No, I just want to make friends with you. After a pause, Su Yanqing continued. Do you know me? Qin Wan'er asked back. You don't know me? Qin Wan'er was the one who took the credit for the elimination of the underworld gangs in Hudong, so it was hard for Qin Wan'er to imagine that Su Yanqing did not know her. If Qin Wan'er said her name, Su Yanqing would definitely recognize her. However, if she only looked at her face, she would not be able to recognize Qin Wan'er at all. She was not in Hudong during that time. When she came back and wanted to meet her, Qin Wan'er had already been transferred from the Wenhui District Police Station to the Criminal Investigation Department of the Municipal Bureau. Sorry, I really don't know you. Although Su Yanqing spoke politely, she sneered at Qin Wan'er's arrogance in her heart. Qin Wan'er talked like she was the chairman, as if everyone should know her. But now that we know each other, and you know who I am, shouldn't you introduce yourself to me? Su Yan did not mind making friends with this busty beauty, but before he could say anything, Qin Wan'er denied it. We are not the same kind of people. Why should we be friends? Su Yanqing saw that Qin Wan's face was full of anger. She was somewhat unhappy. Really? We are not the same kind of people? Haha, then it seems that there is some misunderstanding between us. My friend here said that someone was looking for trouble with him. Are you saying that those people are not you? This time, Su Yan finally stopped Qin Wan'er. If Qin Wan'er continued to quarrel like this, then they would not be able to talk clearly. Oh, Secretary Feng invited you here, right? Ha ha ha. People say that heroes protect beautiful women. Why did Secretary Feng find such a beautiful woman to protect him? It's a misunderstanding. Secretary Feng must have misunderstood something about me. Su Yan's timely apology gave Su Yanqing a psychological advantage. It seemed that the other party wasn't a strong person. She finally put on a cold face. Since it's a misunderstanding, I don't want this misunderstanding to spread. If you give me Su Yanqing face, then I'll let this matter go. In the future, don't trouble Secretary Feng again. Since you know his identity, you should understand his power. Why do you want to make trouble for yourself? Don't you think so? Listening to Su Yanqing's tone, Su Yan nodded repeatedly. Yes, yes, yes. You are absolutely right. Su Yan, can you be more mature? Qin Wan'er was a little angry. She stared at Su Yan fiercely. He was too cowardly. After that, Qin Wan'er said to Ruan Qingshuang with grievances. Sister Qingshuang, look at him. When he sees a beautiful woman, he grovels. What kind of person is he? Just now, he said that he wanted to teach that bastard a lesson. Now, when he sees a beautiful woman, he has no idea what to do. Chapter 383. Just as Su Yanqing was so shocked that her mouth could not close, Feng Guoqing ran into the bar in a panic. Before Su Yanqing could ask what was going on, the bar's foyer started to flood in. Not only did this situation scare Feng Guoqing and Su Yanqing's people, but even Boss Xiao, the staff, and the guests inside were scared silly. Boss Xiao saw Chang and the 3 tigers of Southern City immediately. As he ran in front of them, he took out a cigarette and shouted enthusiastically, Brother Chang, you're back again. Io, are you going to treat Brother Feng, Brother Ning, and Brother Zhong to a drink? Come, drink as much as you want today. It's on me, it's all on me. It's all on the house. It was better for the alcohol in the bar to be drunk than to be smashed. It was not a pity to drink it, and he could even do a favor. If it was smashed, then there would be no benefits at all. As the boss, little Xiao naturally understood this point of business. Xiao, do you think your brothers are here to drink today? Lu Feng raised his eyebrows. Because Wenhui District belonged to the 2nd Southern District of Hudong, the 3 tigers of Southern City and Boss Xiao had known each other for a long time. Although their relationship was not particularly close, it could be said that they were not strangers at all. Io, Brother Feng, look at what you're saying. How can they not come here to drink? Boss Xiao welcomed them with a smile. As he handed them cigarettes, he lit them up with a lighter. Brothers, give me some face. Can't we discuss everything? Dan Honing took a puff of his cigarette and smiled. Brother, it's not that we don't want to give you face, but someone dared to surround our sister Shuang and brother Yin in your bar. What do you think we can do? These words were directed at Su Yanqing. Boss Xiao's face was also filled with helplessness. He wondered who he had offended. Why did all these things have to happen in his bar? First, it was the Japanese looking for trouble. Then it was Su Yanqing who got into trouble with Boss Su Yun. What the hell was going on? Boss Xiao finally understood that the guests in the private room were not Su Yun's friends at all. Su Yanqing's face was a little pale. When she saw the 3 tigers of Southern City, she basically understood today's matter. Feng Guoqing had really harmed her. She had been trying her best to keep a low profile, so as not to provoke the man who now ruled Hedong. However, what Feng Guoqing had done today had attracted the attention of the 3 tigers of Nancheng. Moreover, the woman who had spoken like she had eaten gunpowder had called the woman beside her Sister Qing Shuang. Who else could she be but Ruan Qing Shuang of Hedong City's underworld? Kong Zhong's eyes lit up when he saw Su Yanqing. I was wondering who was so daring. So it was Thorny Rose from the Hero Society. No wonder you're so bold. Su Yanqing, what are you planning to do? Su Yanqing's face darkened. She didn't say anything for a long time. Feng Guoqing's heart was in his throat. He was really worried that Su Yanqing would sell him out at this time. He was now a sheep trapped in a wolf's den. He could be torn to pieces at any time. Unless the she-wolf gave him a chance, he could only wait for death. Finally, after careful consideration, Su Yanqing stood up coldly. Without saying anything, she bowed deeply to Ruan Qing Shuang and Su Yun. She shouted at her own people, apologized to Sister Qing Shuang and Brother Yin. As the underlings, they definitely didn't dare to go against Sister Yanqing's words. They followed suit and bowed to apologize. This time, Feng Guoqing was the one who was dumbfounded. Feng Guoqing's voice was a little unsteady. Xiao Su, what do you mean? I'm sorry, Secretary Feng. I, Su Yanqing, know myself. I know who I can offend and who I can't. I came because you told me that you had offended 2 hooligans. I didn't know that you had offended Sister Qing Shuang. Su Yanqing was indeed a smart person. Now that the 3 tigers of Southern City had sealed off the entire bar, whoever dared to say no would definitely suffer today. In the past, the gang leaders who had offended Ruan Qing Shuang were either seriously injured and hospitalized. None of them had a good ending. Su Yanqing was sure that if she offended them, she wouldn't have a good ending either. At that time, it would be difficult for Feng Guoqing to stand up for her. One had to know how to analyze things. Once one analyzed things thoroughly, one would know where to step on. Feng Guoqing's face turned green. He raised his finger and pointed at Su Yanqing's nose. He scolded angrily. Bitch, how dare you trick me? Fine. You can try. Sooner or later, I'll show you what I, Feng Guoqing, am capable of. You dare to hit me when I'm down? Humph, you'd better remember what happened today. I don't believe that these people can do anything to me. The last sentence was right. No matter what, his identity was here. Those who dared to touch his people had to think about the consequences. However, there were people in this group who didn't believe it. Su Yun actually didn't want to hit people, especially a government official. However, because of Feng Guoqing's actions, Su Yun's hands were really itchy. He didn't believe that if he hit Feng Guoqing would give him a death sentence. Did he really think that he was the king? Su Yun wanted to let him remember that in Hedong, the king wasn't Feng Guoqing, but he Su Yun. If he had the ability to take him seriously, then he could do it. Su Yun had seen all kinds of situations. Why would he be afraid of a small municipal party secretary? Under the surprised gaze of Feng Guoqing and the others, Su Yun raised his right hand and slapped Feng Guoqing's right cheek with the back of his hand. Before Feng Guoqing could feel the pain of the slap, Su Yun raised his hand and slapped Feng Guoqing's left cheek mercilessly. The slap was crisp, loud and soul-stirring. What was arrogance? What was domineering? Su Yun gave everyone present a lesson. This was what it meant to be arrogant and domineering. He was arrogant to the extreme and domineering to the peak. 5 fingerprints appeared on Feng Guoqing's left cheek in an instant. His mouth also quickly swelled up after the 5 fingerprints. The sharp pain made Feng Guoqing scream. At this time, the girl beside him quickly ran away, afraid that she would be implicated. Su-yin shook his hand and said with a grimace, "Secretary Feng, why didn't you dodge after the first slap? If you had dodged, my hand wouldn't hurt so much. You wouldn't have to lose face, right?" Although Su-yin didn't have a fierce temperament, in Feng Guoqing's eyes, he was now a smiling devil. A devil who could open his bloody mouth and swallow him alive at any time. What could Feng Guoqing say? Su-yun's 2 slaps were so fast, the interval between them was less than 0.5 seconds. He didn't feel any pain on his right cheek, but the left had already been slapped. Wasn't it obvious that he wanted to beat him? Why did he have to make it sound so nice? Enduring the burning pain on his face, Feng Guoqing only felt a sense of humiliation squeezing his heart. That feeling was really uncomfortable, and it was unspeakable. But he was a person who didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. How could he challenge so many gangsters? He even dared to slap the secretary. After Su-yun's 2 slaps, the whole bar was silent. Even Qin Wan-er, who wanted to slap Feng Guoqing the most, covered her mouth with both hands. She really didn't dare to think that Su-yin dared to slap Feng Guoqing. Moreover, he gave Feng Guoqing such a loud slap in the face in public. The muscles on Feng Guoqing's face trembled. At this moment, he really wanted to kill the bastard in front of him. He swore that this was the biggest humiliation he had ever suffered in his life. But Feng Guoqing absolutely didn't think that what he was going to suffer next was really the biggest humiliation he had ever suffered in his life. "Su Yanqing, right?" Su-yin smiled slightly. "I have inquired about you. Hero Society. A heroine among women. Women are not inferior to men. Haha, today we don't know each other. I like to make friends, but I don't like to make friends with spineless people." Su Yanqing looked at Su-yin in surprise. She didn't understand why Su-yin said this to her. Su-yin pointed at Feng Guoqing and continued to say to Su Yanqing, "I know that you definitely don't like this person, but you have no choice. You think that he has a high position and power, so you have to do whatever he says. Now I will give you a chance. Slap him. As long as you slap him, I will protect you. I promise that he will never dare to threaten you in the future. If you believe me, then do as I say. If you don't believe me, then I can only apologize. We can't be friends." Everyone was shocked by Su-yun's words. No one thought that Su-yin would actually force Su Yanqing like this. Su Yanqing was surprised for more than half a minute before she understood what Su-yin meant. But to slap Feng Guoqing? The consequences would be unimaginable. Then Su Yanqing's eyes met with Su-yun's eyes. Su-yun's smile was very bright, giving people a very warm feeling. Su Yanqing didn't know what she was thinking. But at this moment, she felt that to be friends with Su-yin, she was willing to offend anyone. Because this was the most courageous man that she, Su Yanqing, had ever seen in her life. What power, what status, in this man's eyes, it was all bullshit. Pa dash. Su Yanqing suddenly raised her hand. Feng Guoqing's face had 5 more red and swollen handprints, but this time the fingerprints were much thinner than the previous one. No one thought that Su Yanqing would really slap him like this. Even Feng Guoqing couldn't believe that this woman would actually slap him so impolitely. He swore that he would return the humiliation to them double, no, 10 times. Ha 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 ha, I will definitely make friends with you. Su-yin wanted this kind of pleasure. He wanted to make Feng Guoqing unable to believe and accept this kind of reality. Su Yanqing was stunned for a long time and didn't speak. She felt that she was a little poisoned. Su-yin was like a poisonous grass, poisoning her in an instant. She didn't have the mood to think about how Feng Guoqing would treat her. She only knew that what she did just now made Su-yin very happy. Chapter 384. Feng Guoqing's face was not just burning with pain. For him, this was not just a simple humiliation. Su Yanqing's slap had awakened him and made him realize that this was definitely not his world. Su-yin seemed to have not played enough. He knew very well what Feng Guoqing was thinking. He could still see the mentality of revenge in his eyes. But Su-yin did not want to play with him anymore. Su-yin only wanted him to never play any tricks in front of him. It was annoying. Chong, Su Yin waved in the direction of Chang and the three tigers of Southern City. You guys come here. These guys walked all the way here, their mouths still wide open in shock. What happened just now was really hard for them to accept. Although they had forced Feng Guoqing to come in, if they really had to do it, they would have been a little embarrassed. In ancient times, Feng Guoqing was the magistrate of a prefecture. Who would dare to touch him? No matter how powerful the local ruffians were, they were nothing in front of the magistrate. Although the social system had changed since ancient times, people's hearts had not changed. Nowadays, people treated the officials in the municipal committee the same as ancient people treated the officials in the yamen. Lowly. It was hard to change what was in the bones. This was the case for all species that had evolved. For example, dogs were born to treat humans as their masters, but wolves did not think so. This was the current state of mind of Chang and the three tigers of Southern City. Even if Feng Guoqing's face was swollen after being slapped by Su Yun, he was still the secretary of Hudong City, not a street ruffian. Brother. Chang seemed to realize something. According to his understanding of Su Yun was usually the kind of person who would amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. This time, Brother Yun probably really wanted to change Feng Guoqing's temper. Let's stop here, okay? Su Yun smiled. It was a very relaxed smile. He did not mean to blame him. What do you mean by let's stop here? How many times have I taught you that when you do something, you either do it well, or don't do it at all? It was the same logic as being an official. Either they were like Mayor Qin and did practical things for the people. Otherwise, he'll be like Secretary Feng, neglecting his duties. He's already in his 50s, yet he still wants to raise a 20-year-old girl for fun. Chang nodded repeatedly. Brother, you're right. So I should do this? Su Yun asked, just like a teacher giving a lesson to a student. Chang thought for a moment and concluded. If I'm going to do it, I'll do it to the end and make it perfect. That's right. Su Yun smiled and said, Secretary Feng is right in front of us. As an official of Hudong County, you're doing such shady things. Tell me the truth. What are you thinking? Chang's mouth formed an O shape. He did not expect Brother Yun to suddenly ask such a question. Brother, am I really telling you the truth? Feng Guoqing's face was ashen. He clenched his teeth and listened to Su Yun's words. In his mind he kept telling himself, if Han Xian can endure the humiliation of being groomed, why can't I? If Su Yun heard Feng Guoqing's inner thoughts, Su Yun would definitely ask Feng Guoqing why he had the face to compare himself with Han Xian. Tell the truth. Of course I'm telling the truth. Su Yun nodded at Chang. Lies are usually told by subordinates to their superiors, or by their superiors to the people. We're brothers. How can brothers lie to each other? Chang clenched his teeth and stomped his foot. He pointed at Feng Guoqing and said, I want to F***king beat you. If you want to beat me, then beat me. Don't hold it in. Su Yun raised his eyebrows and egged him on. As soon as he said that, Feng Guoqing was dumbfounded. He had been holding it in. He thought that with his endurance, he would definitely be able to endure today's incident. As long as he could get out of this hooligan's den, he would let these bastards know how many eyes he had. He was going to launch an anti-crime campaign in Hudong City. He was going to make sure that these hooligans would have no place to stay. He was going to arrest them all and lock them up. However, things did not go as he wished. Not only did he not hold it in, but he also flew into a rage when he heard Su Yun's words. You better not go overboard. You know who I am. Don't you think about the consequences? Beat me? First, you violated personal safety. Secondly, you have committed a serious crime of threatening state officials. That is a serious crime. Do you know the law? Intentional injury is punishable by a sentence. Secretary Feng, are you talking to me about the law? Su Yun sneered. You want to talk about intentional injury? I know that intentional injury is an act of violating or damaging the victim's body. However, there is a difference. If we slap you twice, at most it will be intentional injury. At most it will be an education. The muscles on Feng Guoqing's face trembled. The corners of his mouth twitched a few times, but he did not make a sound. He was surprised that Su Yun knew the law. But do you know what crime you have committed? Secretary Feng? Su Yun continued. Dereliction of duty. Feng Guiqing sneered. Dereliction of duty means that I am seriously irresponsible. I did not perform my duties or did not perform my duties properly. This caused great losses to public property and the interests of the state and the people. I just came out to drink and chat with my friends. How can you accuse me of dereliction of duty? Where is the evidence? Su Yin smiled slightly. What happened between you and Fan Tianlong? Isn't that enough evidence? You did not let the Public Security Department follow the law and force them to release you. This is dereliction of duty and abuse of power. You have committed the crime of dereliction of duty. If you want witnesses, there is one here. Officer Qin experienced it herself. When Qin Weiner was mentioned, Feng Guiqing felt as if a spring breeze had come to his face. His voice was fearful and surprised. Comrade Qin Weiner, you are a policewoman. Now my personal safety is threatened. You are a policewoman. You have to perform your duty to protect me. Otherwise, you are dereliction of duty. This guy's brain works really fast. If it was a normal day, Qin Weiner would definitely not let Su Yin do something so excessive. But today Feng Guiqing was like this, and he still had such an attitude. She really could not take it lying down. I am sorry, Secretary Feng. I am now under investigation. Don't you understand what that means? It means that I have no law enforcement power. I am also an ordinary citizen. This is not my duty. You were the one who personally dismissed me. You can't have forgotten that, right? I will restore your position now. I will give you law enforcement power. Feng Guiqing was a little anxious. You should at least do something about this. Qin Weiner was stunned. She really did not know what she should do. Fortunately, Su Yin opened his mouth to remind her. Even if you restore your position, you have to go through the process of rules and regulations. You can just remove and restore as you wish. Secretary Feng, do you think you are Emperor Feng? Humph. Qin Weiner also snorted heavily at Feng Guiqing. She turned her head and no longer paid attention to him. Feng Guiqing's teeth were itching, but he could not do anything. He only hoped that today's matter could be over as soon as possible. He must not suffer any more physical pain. Chang. Su Yin sneered. What did you say just now? Chang was stunned for a moment and stared. Slap you. Su Yin nodded, indicating that Chang could do what he wanted to do at any time. Although Chang raised his hand, it was more or less trembling. After all, Feng Guiqing was the secretary, and he was just a fart citizen. But thinking about a lot of things, Chang also gritted his teeth with hatred. For example, the demolition incident. If Feng Guiqing did not cause some trouble in the middle, the old residents of the shanty town would have already lived in the building. They would not have caused so much trouble there for so many days. The more Chang thought about it, the angrier he felt. Finally, an inexplicable impulse rushed to the top of his head. His trembling arm suddenly stopped shaking. In a flash, Chang slapped Feng Guiqing's swollen big pig face hard. Pa! A man's hand strength was stronger than a woman's. This big slap was obviously more ruthless than Su Yanqing's slap just now. More brittle. More powerful. Feng Guiqing was stunned. Even a little punk dared to slap him without hesitation. The pride in his heart for so many years was completely slapped away by this slap. This was the result that Su Yin wanted. He wanted everyone here to give Feng Guiqing a slap in the face and trample on his sense of superiority. This was not how a parent should be. A parent should be a parent, not so arrogant and extravagant. Lu Feng, it's your turn. Su Yun's voice was unquestionable. Lu Feng's reaction was bigger than Chang's. He froze for a moment and shook his head. Brother Yun, I'll pass. You have to continue this slap, either on my face or on Secretary Feng's. You choose. Su Yun's words directly made Lu Feng's head explode. Isn't this too extreme? Seeing that Lu Feng was still in a daze, Dan Hongning directly pushed him. What's there to think about? Lu Feng nodded heavily. There was indeed nothing to think about. If he had to choose 10,000 times, his slap would land on Feng Guiqing's face just like now. Lu Feng's hand strength was so strong that Feng Guiqing's head was about to turn into paste. I've already made myself clear. Every one of my brothers will be slapped, either on my face or on Fengguoqing's. You make your own choice. Since Su Yin dared to say so, he was full of confidence and certainty. He wanted to let Fengguoqing know that in Hudong, the person with the highest authority was not Fengguoqing, but him, Su Yin. Wan Qingshuang anxiously pulled Su Yin and whispered, Su Yin, aren't you a bit too much? No matter what, he is still the secretary of Hudong City, right? The things he did were worse than me. He can keep young girls for his own selfish desires. Do you know how much his monthly salary is? Uncle Qin's salary is not much less than his. Uncle Qin can't even afford to buy a car. If Fengguoqing did not embezzle money, where would he get the money? The lowest cost of the private room is more than a month of his salary. Su Yin said, Uncle Qin is doing the man-made river project for the sake of the country and the people. What about Fengguoqing? He wants to fill his own pockets and avenge his own private grudges. He has no good intentions. I don't think it's too much for this kind of person. Chapter 385. Over the next few days, no one saw Fengguoqing in Hudong City. There were many different versions of where he had gone. The general version was that he had contracted some kind of illness and needed treatment. After that, he would be transferred out of Hudong City to another position. Because of Fengguoqing's sudden disappearance, Qin Zhongming took over all the work of the municipal party secretary of Hudong City. It was believed that there would be new appointments soon. After Qin Zhongming came to Hudong City, he worked very hard in all aspects, especially in the demolition of Wenhui Shantytown and the management of the artificial river. All these signs indicated that he was likely to be promoted to the municipal party secretary of Hudong City. If Hudong City had such a good secretary, it was believed that the people's lives would be better and better. Qin Wan'er's position had also been restored. She had returned to her favorite job, which made her feel much better. The haze from a few days ago had been swept away. In her words, the feeling of a rainbow finally appearing after the rain was great. Lu Feng led his subordinates to do the renovation work of the artificial river seriously and responsibly. The team of the Tang's group also carefully studied and formulated many plans for Qin Zhongming to choose. The medicinal hot pot business in Dan Hongning's branch became very popular. Soon it spread to the entire Hudong City. All the stores were very busy. Su Yin's body recovered very quickly. When the old man saw that it was about time, he said that he was going to meet a few old friends, and directly left with his luggage. Su Yin did not force him to stay, because he knew that it was impossible to keep this old urchin. At least he had returned to China, which was indeed a good thing for Su Yin. Guoguo won the first place in the school's midterm exam. The continuous good news made everyone feel very good. The air in Hudong City was full of excitement. The Bund of Shenzjiang was located in the center of Shenzjiang City. It was the scenery of Shenzjiang. People who came to Shenzjiang would never miss this place. It was east of the Shenzjiang River. On the west side, there were more than 50 buildings of different styles, such as Gothic, Romanesque, Baroque, and Chinese and Western styles. It had a reputation of being the most comprehensive architectural group in the world. This was a place that everyone in Shenzjiang City was proud of. It was also a place that they couldn't be more familiar with. This was one of the most beautiful corners of Shenzjiang City. Of course, rich people generally wouldn't play in the crowd of people on the Bund. That was a very old-fashioned way of playing. At least, that was what the rich people in Shenzjiang thought. The rich people in Xinjiang preferred to find a quiet place to eat good food and drink good wine. They could see the Bund, but not let others see them. When it came to admiring the view of the Bund, there were probably not many places that could be compared to the Xingkai Hotel. This place was not only famous for its high and expensive prices. Like most five-star hotels, the Xingkai Hotel's Chinese restaurant was not well furnished. The more expensive abalone, shark's fin, and ginseng tripe outside didn't leave much of an impression on people. However, the Italian cuisine on the 58th floor and the French cuisine on the 56th floor were not bad. There was also the Japanese cuisine on the lower floor. Xingkai also had the tallest bar in Xinjiang. The 60th floor's exquisite bar was famous for its martinis. The piano bar had a wide suede sofa and the sound of the piano flowed like water. There was also the bar on the 88th floor. From this height, one could overlook the Bund and Xinjiang under the night sky. That kind of charming feeling was hard to describe to people who hadn't experienced it before. The food and wine here were expensive, but compared to the people who lined up to buy tickets to climb the Pearl Tower, it was much more graceful and comfortable. Nakamura Shunji swirled the expensive glass of red wine in his hand. Across from him sat a man with a gloomy face. His eyes were fixed on the few photos on the table. It was hard to tell the man's age. 20, 30, or 40. They all looked alike, but they also didn't look alike. Generally speaking, people like this tended to have more experience. Miura-san, if you're sure, then name your price. Nakamura Shunji finally couldn't take it anymore. They had been sitting here for more than an hour, but Miura Yoshiyama still hadn't spoken. Nakamura Shunji's patience was getting worse. Although Nakamura Shunji was unhappy, he didn't dare to show it. After all, Miura Yoshiyama was an IGA Ryu Jounin, and had a very high status. Moreover, he was now asking for help, so he had to lower his status. Miura Yoshiyama finally opened his mouth. He pointed to a side profile in the corner behind the man in the photo and asked, "Nakamura-kun, why isn't there a photo of this woman?" Nakamura Shunji glanced at him and said, "Miura-san, if you like that woman, you can bring her back. I don't mind. I only want this man dead. And these two women, I want them alive. Don't tell me you didn't understand what I said to you before? Miura-san, you have to understand that this is an employment." Miura Yoshiyama's biting cold eyes suddenly swept over, making Nakamura Shunji couldn't help but swallow the rest of his words. "I can help you kill this man, and I can also help you bring these two women back." Miura Yoshiyama said coldly, "I want 300 million yen. Nakamura Shunji was stunned on the spot. 300 million yen. Was he crazy? Even if it was converted into RMB, it would still be 18 million. It was just to deal with a few Huaxia people, but Miura Yoshiyama actually asked for such an exorbitant price. This made Nakamura Shunji's heart fiercely block a big stone. "Miura-san, I sincerely asked you to do something for me. Don't you think it's a bit too much to ask for such an exorbitant price?" Nakamura Shunji didn't care about the other party's identity and straightened his face. "Don't think that I don't understand the market. I asked you to do this kind of thing because of IGA Ryu. I'm afraid you don't need to do this personally. Any genin can solve the problem. 300 million yen, isn't it too exaggerated?" Miura Yoshiyama didn't speak, just looked at Nakamura Shunji quietly. Nakamura Shunji stretched out 2 fingers and said, 20 million yen, I think this price is enough, right? Miura Yoshiyama completely ignored him and directly got up to leave. Nakamura Shunji was dumbfounded and immediately stood up. "Miura-san, you said 300 million yen, okay, I can give you that. But you have to give me a reason to give you so much money." Nakamura Shunji said sternly, "You should know that Darii Electronics doesn't lack money. But you have to give me a reason to pay you so much money. I just want you to deal with a Huaxia man and 2 Huaxia women. Is it really worth 300 million? Miura Yoshiyama stopped. "Nakamura-kun, you want a reason? I can give you a reason." With that, Miura Yoshiyama picked up the photo and pointed to the woman in the background. "Do you know who this person is?" "Who?" Nakamura Shunji froze for a moment. "I didn't ask you to deal with this woman. I'm talking about the other 2 women. If you like this woman, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with me, right?" "Humph," Miura Yoshiyama said coldly. "Obviously, this woman's relationship with the people you want me to deal with is not ordinary. I can tell you seriously, this woman is the one who killed 2 IGA Ryuchunin in our Japanese shrine a few years ago. She has a title called Violent Fox Venerable. On the Fiend Spirit list, her head is worth 17 million renminbi. Nakamura-kun, do you still think my price is high? How much is 300 million renminbi? Your Darii Electronics is doing business in Huaxia. You should know how to calculate this, right? Well, I'll calculate it for you. According to the recent exchange rate, it's 73 million renminbi. Excluding the 17 million that Fox Venerable paid, I only received 730,000 renminbi from you, which is equivalent to 12 million yen. Nakamura-kun, do you think it's expensive? Miura Yoshiyama's words made Nakamura Shunji speechless. He couldn't believe that the woman in the background of the photo was such a powerful figure. No wonder that guy was so skilled. Miura Yoshiyama threw the photo to Nakamura Shunji. Nakamura-kun, even if you don't want to pay the money, I will still capture that woman and bring her back to Japan. I will use her blood to comfort the dead sect members, but I won't do meaningless things. So if you really want to take down these 3 people, 300 million renminbi is not negotiable. If you don't want to pay, you can find someone else. I prefer to sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. Hearing Miura Yoshiyama's words, Nakamura Shunji was dumbfounded. With such a powerful woman by his side, ordinary people wouldn't be able to deal with her. And those who could deal with her, the price wouldn't be low. Finally, Nakamura Shunji clenched his teeth and made a decision. Fine. 300 million renminbi it is. But I have a condition. Speak. Miura Yoshiyama was expressionless. I'll only give you 3 days because I can't wait. 3 days, just 3 days. I must make those 2 women lie on my bed and make that man die at my feet. Nakamura Shunji gnashed his teeth in anger. Miura Yoshiyama's tone was flat. Nakamura-kun, you can rest assured. I do things cleanly. If I can use 1 day, I won't use 2. If I can use 2 days, I won't use 3. In order to vent the hatred in his heart, Nakamura Shunji made a prompt decision. Fine. Then I'll pay you 100 million renminbi tomorrow. After the matter is done, I will naturally transfer the 200 million renminbi to your account. Nakamura-kun, you should know my rules. Take the money first, then do the work. Miura Yoshiyama's voice was heavy. If you don't believe in my credibility, you can also find another expert. Before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I will transfer 300 million renminbi to your account. If you can't do it, then we will treat it as if nothing happened today. Nakamura Shunji wanted to say something but stopped. He took a deep breath and said, Fine. Then I wish Miura-san a smooth journey and success. I will transfer the money to you tomorrow morning. You must do this matter beautifully for me. That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.